Oh, music first. Mark, I like that.
What is it? What does that mean?
Well, we're supposed to play the music.
Oh, yeah.
Do I even have that anywhere? Have I got that audio file?
I could play it, I think.
Don't break anything.
No, I'll break something.
Taken 6 hours to set this up. Thank you, as always, to our regular podcast sponsors for their support. Topo Maps Plus, a phone application that allows you to view topographical maps, track your location, even without cell phone coverage. Go deeper into the backcountry. Rios floating polarized sunglasses with 100% UV protection for the love of water. Bluey Merino, Australian superfine merino wool base, mid and top layer garments. Where our story ends, yours is just beginning. Caribbee, one of Australia's leading backpack, travel and outdoor brands. They supply us with dry bags, waterproof day packs and expedition bags. Supporting our sponsors allows us to continue to produce this podcast, so please jump online and check out what they have to offer. Oh, how's that? Professional right there. Guys, welcome. How you doing? You got your song.
You made it happen. Well done, man.
Yeah, Death Knight's given us the double horns. Good on you, mate.
Well done.
Where do we start? Craig, how you been, mate? What have you been up to?
I've been pretty good. You know, a lot of hanging out at home, though. That's the way it is at the moment.
Yes, it is. It is the story of many of our lives at the moment.
Tidying up my studio, you know, hanging out here with the kids.
Today was the first day I left my property for... I couldn't tell you exactly. It's somewhere in the vicinity of 20 to 30 days.
That's unreal.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And also, I have not driven my car in that time. So driving here this morning was a bit weird.
Wow.
Felt like I was going really fast.
Wow. No, man, that's different because I've been able to go to work still.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to be all, not even leaving the house, eh?
And you're the first, apart from... looking over the fence saying g'day to the neighbours, you're the first person that I've seen.
I feel privileged. I also hope I don't, break it all for you.
Yeah, I know, because you're not going to catch anything off me, but I don't know if I trust you. There's been multiple times that you've given me germs.
Jeremy bastard. Yeah. All right, well, here we are. We're on.
Yeah, good. We got there in the end. Have we said hello to everybody? Yeah, we have.
Nice.
Perfect. Mark, did you say where you're from? I don't think you did. Who said they were from the... Oh, Death Knight's from the US. I don't think Mark said where he's from. We know where Oddbjørn's from. He's our friend from Norway. Who was a guest? He was actually a guest on the podcast. That was an excellent podcast. He was one of our first guests. And he's a landscape photographer. Does fantastic stuff, both on YouTube and Instagram and all those sorts of things. Did you watch his Christmas kind of special?
Yeah.
In all the snow, he kind of snuck out and got a few shots.
Yeah, I think
that was really good. I watched it with my two eldest boys, and I actually sent him a message.
This Christmas just gone, right?
Oh, Mark's from Canada.
Wonderful.
Oh, g'day Canada. Got a bit of a nice representation here. This is good. Hey, if anyone has any questions, I mean, we're just going to talk rubbish and do our usual thing, but if you want to start shooting questions at us, we'll sort of jump to it between news and that sort of thing. Yeah. That's fine.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with that. Did you finish telling me about what you've been up to?
Yeah, mate, I haven't been up to too much. I've been, learning how to use some power tools, actually.
Oh, wow.
A bit
That's
scary.
big step up.
Nothing serious at this stage, but because I'm stuck here, I've just been, getting some little jobs done. And
This room looks better. Did you put up that shelf?
yeah.
Whoa. It's level and everything.
I did that.
That's
I did
quite
that this
good.
week. Thank
Got
you.
a new shelf up
I
there.
built a little table here. It's nothing that anyone else couldn't do, but there you go.
I like it.
And I put some more foam on the wall over there. So.
I did see that. Was the first thing I saw was the extra foam.
Yeah. So yeah, I've just been working hard, man, at work as well. So
Yeah, it's the weird thing for me is I see my neighbour who is one neighbour's a school teacher, so he's actually gone back to the office, although there's not really many students there. He's there, and my other neighbour coincidentally took a month off because they had a new baby, and it happened about 2 days before lockdown. So he actually went to work, and then he got the call and had to go to the hospital. So it's been real weird because all day, every day, he's banging and cutting stuff, and he's built a new shed in the last couple of weeks, and he's doing heaps of work in the yard, and I hear him working all day long. But I work from home and my work hasn't been affected, and I mean, I've got to be grateful for that, obviously, but it does mean that I haven't really been doing any magnificent projects or anything, because for me it's exactly the same as my normal schedule. I get up, I do what I do, and then turn up to work, and if I've got time in between now, it's been spent homeschooling. Well, that's fun. Anybody who hasn't done that, that's great.
Yeah,
that stuff.
That's been tough, actually. But a lot of my clients and my work, they're a bit vulnerable, a bit frail, so we end up having to reschedule. So I'm just sitting at the office, answering phones and just twiddling my thumbs a lot, actually. So that's been really strange and kind of harder than you think to be.
That sounds
position.
tough. Yeah.
Well, it kind of is. It kind of is. But no, we've been keeping busy in some ways, but I haven't been doing my usual work anyway.
Oddbjörn just said, many thanks, boys. Had a blast on your podcast.
Totally.
It was a good podcast. Really enjoyed that one. And I've been talking to Oddbjörn, if I can let a little secret out of the bag. Craig, you and I have discussed it. I hope, Oddbjörn, it's okay for me to mention it, that we're going to be getting Oddbjörn back on. Hopefully that's in the near future. We're just trying to work out times and dates. Not so much as a guest. I mean, obviously he's a guest, but as a landscape photography expert that he is, to kind of join in that conversation and actually be able to be somebody available to you guys, to actually give you some knowledge, because everything we know about landscape photography we just make up or we just copy Oddbjörn.
That's it.
We just watch his videos and do what he does, wear funny hats, grow our hair long, and pretend to be Oddbjörn.
Yeah, it'd be good to get him on again, talking about cameras and stuff, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'd be good just to have that person there who you can actually ask the question and say, hey, this is something we struggle with. What do you do? Or what's your 5 tips? Or what's your best pieces of gear?
Yeah, you can get pretty...
Oddbjörn's laughing. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Yeah.
He's probably laughing at the hair reference, not so much that he's coming back on as a guest.
He's got the best hair, man, even though I'm sitting next to you.
Yeah, I'm a little offended. No, he trumps me. Yeah, Kia says that it's a good problem to have, but it does make for a weird life. You're right there, mate. Yeah, go to work as normal, and then once you get to the weekends, you can't go anywhere.
That's it.
It's strange.
Been awful.
But
gee, I reckon we could dig pretty deep into landscape photography one day.
I think we can, because I don't think we've ever touched on it properly. I mean, even when we had Oddbjörn on as a guest, we were I guess, learning a lot about his landscape and lifestyle.
Yeah.
Not so much the art of landscape photography,
which we should talk about for sure.
Which we should talk about.
I wonder if
because I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, well, I wonder if most of our listeners actually just take a phone to take photos, or whether a lot of them do carry a decent camera.
Yeah, I reckon it's probably somewhere split down the middle, I think.
Yeah, I reckon there'd be a bit of both. And, yeah, if you do start to take it seriously, you can get pretty deep into it, eh? Yeah, cool.
Oh, so Oddbjörn is laughing at the podcast.
Yeah.
And we've all got weird hair nowadays. That's true.
That's it.
4 weeks ago, my hair was the length of Craig's, and then once lockdown happened, I actually tidied up the sides of my beard last night because I really looked like I'd been locked down badly, locked up. It looks like I've been locked up, for drunk and disorderly or something.
Homeless person.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Can I tell you what I've been up to?
Yes, please. I was going to ask.
I've been doing a lot of burpees. Were you joking when
No, I've been doing it.
Have you been doing it?
Yeah.
But you haven't said anything.
Am I supposed to be saying things?
Oh,
I'm a bit preoccupied.
No, I know. I just thought that I misunderstood your comment when you said...
man.
Oh,
I said, hold
man.
my beer. I'm going to start doing burpees.
I got... That's what I got.
Let's
and then
do it.
when you didn't post
the next day
back on the post, I thought, he's decided... he was just joking.
No, I'm in.
What I did was I've been doing. I'm trying to create a new habit, right? And I decided that I'm a terrible morning person, so I'm kind of creating this morning routine. And one of the things that I hate, I like to start the day with things I hate, is burpees, right? If you don't know what a burpee is, I'm sure the US people do. Oddbjörn probably has no idea. It's from a standing position. You squat, go into the plank position, which is like a push-up, bring your legs back up and stand up. Variations are a push-up at the bottom and a jump out of the squat. So I've been doing that for a week or just over a week, every morning, minimum of 10. And I thought I just put a post on Facebook and said, does anyone else want to do 10 burpees a day throughout the whole of May? And it was about 8 or 9 people said, yeah, we'll do it. Which Oddbjörn says he has no idea what a burpee was. Hopefully my explanation was good. Anyway.
Every day.
Yeah, we're only a couple of days in. I haven't done mine this morning. But that's going well.
Mm-hmm.
So the purpose of that is not to, I don't think I'm going to get fit from 10, 20, 30 burpees a day. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to build a habit of getting up, getting the blood moving. I might add to that as a workout or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already added other things to it that I do after that.
Isn't it weird though that I've got to ask you what you've been doing and that's your answer these days instead of out doing some wild,
I know I guess that's what I'm trying to do is because there was a period there for a few weeks where I fell into the routine of everyone else, and I bet everyone listening says the same thing. That first couple of weeks, all of a sudden the rest of the family's home with me, and they're not normally home with me. So I fell into their relaxed routine, and I started skipping my workouts. I started treating every single day like it was Saturday or Sunday. As soon as I finish work, I'd just sit around and cruise and play with the kids or whatever. So part of this was to get back to a routine where I'm actually getting active, because we are lightening up our restrictions here where we live, in the state we live. And we're actually, as of this weekend...
First weekend, isn't it?
Yeah. We're allowed to visit national parks again. not all of them, only the ones that are open. We're allowed to have picnics. We're allowed to travel 50 kilometres from our homes, which is the reason we're here today, because Craig, the COVID-19 rules allow Craig to have a visitor, and he's lucky his visitor's been in quarantine. He's a lucky boy. That was a long, long way of saying what I'm trying to achieve is I want to be ready for when things lighten up even more and we're allowed to camp and do overnighters. I want to be fit. I don't want to get to the end of this quarantine and then all of a sudden be super unfit and have to sort of get back into shape. That's my motivation.
Yeah, Kia says he finally got a hike in yesterday too, so he's probably had a bit of time off with the lockdowns.
Yeah, it was Kia that was saying that he's going to work as per usual.
Oh, yeah.
But still, he would have been... Kia, you're from Australia, aren't you? I'm 90% sure you are.
Okay, cool.
Tell us where you're from, mate. Yeah, he just says the first overnight is going to be good, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Where did you hike yesterday, Kia? Jodes, g'day, mate. Jodes in the UK somewhere. I can't be specific, but he's somewhere.
Everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's all over the place. What else have we got for you? Oh, this is another COVID-related positive. I'm pulling lots of positives out of this. Is I ordered a whole bunch of books, about six or seven books, and they've been turning up over the last 2 weeks. And I don't know if you listened to the last podcast. This is great because this is actually a visual medium now. I can hold up that. Look at that. Oh, it's going to be backwards. That's okay. I'll hold the book backwards.
No.
If that is backwards, it's
Whoa.
Hey. It's The Snow Leopard. It's a book that I read an excerpt from in the last podcast because I read a book about Nepal, and that was one of the short stories in there.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's really good. I've only just started it, but it's I didn't realize at the time that it's from the 1950s or something.
Oh, right.
He wrote that. So he was experiencing Nepal and all of that countryside way before this era. But the interesting thing is, and I guess the sad thing is, already in the start of that book, he's talking about how badly the landscape's being destroyed.
Oh, right.
And that was, a long time ago. If my maths are correct, it's somewhere around 70 years.
Pretty good.
Give or take.
Pretty good.
Thanks. So that's good. I got another book. Has anyone heard of a book called Walden? Henry David Thoreau, I think, is the author. It's this guy who was... Oh, Kia, you're a Queensland guy.
Oops.
Good on you, man. I didn't realise you were Queensland. I thought you were from Perth or something. I get confused. I get so many conversations going. Yeah, South Diagula. Mate, Diagula's our local.
Yeah.
I'm up near on the north side, so I hike in Diagula as well, but obviously I hike in the Mount Me section. Craig comes out there a bit too. Yeah, so we're just on the northern end of the same national park. How cool is that? I had no idea. What, this live thing's good. Actually get direct answers and learn stuff.
That's it.
This is great.
All right.
Death Knight. I feel like every time I want to say Death Knight, I want to say Death Knight.
That's it.
Almost. Oh, wow. Death Knight, you actually had coronavirus. Is this what I'm reading? You're almost fully recovered from
Wow.
having the virus. Haven't been able to hike or go outside for walks, and it's nice. Mate, I'm glad to hear that you recovered
Yeah, definitely.
safely. That's good to hear, but I think, to be honest, you're the first person I've ever spoken to who's had it. Thankfully, our numbers are few and far between here in Australia, especially locally. Our area, our state's getting down to zero numbers of cases per day now, which is good to see.
Wow. And it's good to see that Kia has first day, and he's gone hiking.
Yeah, first day.
First day you're allowed to.
First day he's allowed. Kia's
was it busy, mate? Was it busy out there?
That's a great question.
I was tempted to do the same thing, and was thinking there'd be lots of people on the trail. So I bet Diageo was pretty busy yesterday.
I wonder if all the roads were open, all the four-wheel drive tracks as well. Kia says he's hoping to do a south to north route hike one day. That'd be pretty serious. That sounds like 2 or 3 days. What do you reckon? Depends what trails you took. It gets pretty rugged through there. If you tried to go from, if you were idiots like us, you probably could do it in a day, but
so I think
South
Diageo probably just comes up over Mount Glorious, does it? And then heads back over to Mount Mee?
It's a bit further down than that, I believe. You're close, but I think it's a little bit further down. And then obviously it goes all the way up.
Nemo as well.
Yeah, it also goes up to Woodford.
Of course it does, right out to Woodford.
That's where it stops, is at Rathdowney Road.
Yeah, where those campsites are out at Archer and stuff.
Yep, that's
so
right.
That's a long way. It
is a long way,
a few days.
Kia says there's only about 7 cars at the trailhead and only really past 3 on the road.
That's not what I was expecting, so that's good. That's great.
Robin, did you just look up Diageo National Park?
Oh, right.
Robin, can you remind me where you're from? Are you in Sweden or are you in Norway as well? I think you said you were in Sweden in your email. Just confirm that, please. I don't want to go saying things.
It'd be quite different then,
wouldn't it? Also, while you're there, have you, you probably haven't, because there hasn't been many podcasts, you haven't embarrassed yourself in front of any people at work. Mm-hmm. That's right. From Belgium, moved to Sweden last year.
Cool.
Listens to our podcast while she's working and laughs, and the tenants look at her strangely.
Yeah,
that's the impression I got. Mate, this coffee cup's not going to fill itself.
Yeah, I was thinking I might have to run out to that little machine I've got. Get a couple more.
I'll give you some news on. I was speaking to. Look at that! I said she again. You said that earlier, and I apologize, Robin. Robin is a he. I didn't get the. Didn't get the comment earlier. You said something about you taking back your gender. Yeah, look, I'm here to get my gender back.
Oh dear.
That could be one of my. Okay, don't worry. Thank you. Thanks for being so. Okay, so when I got an email from Robin, nowhere through the email did it have any, as you would expect, emails don't really lend themselves to if you're a male or female. Robin, pretty typical female name. I'd go as far as to say I'd never met a male Robin before. Robin
Williams?
Well, I've never met him. I probably never will.
No, you probably won't.
Sorry, I've lost my train of thought. So now Robin's just laughing at us. It's good. Great. Now Jodes is jumping in and says, Robin, my name's Jody, and I always get slapped
Same
with the whole girl thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I made a huge assumption because Robin was talking about his children, and automatically just... So in the last podcast, Robin, I would have been saying she.
You did.
I would have. Well, I had to. I wouldn't have said it.
No.
It's from Sweden. So
Oh,
wow.
man. Well, this is setting us straight, isn't it? Right now. With everyone listening.
What is Kia saying? Tom, now you know how Craig feels.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
Yeah, because I put my foot in it sometimes and I get some,
I thought he meant...
I've got to dig my way out lots of times.
I thought he meant now you know how it feels
to be put on the spot.
With Tom mistaking you for a girl.
No.
Happens all the time. I always call him she and her when we're out hiking.
Yeah. Thanks, darling.
And when I'm talking about him when he's not around.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see Craig on the week? Yeah, I went to her place.
She was good.
She's great.
She's okay.
I do know how Craig feels. Kia's saying bingo, you enjoy this. Very good. Yeah. Okay, great. This is I can't even retract this because it's live.
No, we'll be talking about this for ages, mate.
What I need to do is tactfully change the subject to try and get the focus away from me. Hey, speaking about people putting their foot in it, we got another email from Ginger.
You have not earned the right to go there, I don't think.
Oh yeah, no, we got to keep moving. Got to keep moving. This is live. People are trying to have breakfast, dinner,
moving
beers.
right along.
Moving right along.
I'm going to make a coffee.
Got an email from Ginger, and she said she writes, and I'm not saying this is not negative. She writes a massive emails. It's I think it's just that that kind of generation, the way they would communicate is much better than our generation where it's a 2-line email. So she writes me these big emails about what she's up to and detail. She sent me a photo. Have a look at this photo just so you can realize. Yeah, she's high tech.
It's on your desktop? What?
Check it out. My computer's running slow.
Make it bigger.
I'm trying. Look how slow it's running. Did I just not click on that? Oh, here it is. That's her ice climbing a waterfall. How many frozen waterfalls have you?
No, none.
How many?
0.
Was it
0?
It wasn't 1, was it?
No.
It was 0.
0. Impressed.
It wasn't 2? Have you climbed 2 ice waterfalls? No, it's 0.
0.
Just checking.
0.
Because she's sticking it to you again, mate.
Oh.
She's great. She's... I don't know. She's good. She's good. She is thrilled to hear that we're back on with the podcasts. And I think if anybody's listened to the last podcast, you'll understand that there's been a lot going on here. And I don't think I have to go through all that again. But I'll just quickly apologise for the gap between Christmas and the last podcast. So she says it was great hearing us back on, even with the risk of hearing another foot in mouth comment from, well, she actually says you or Craig. I was just about to say I don't make foot in mouth comments, but I have done it live, and everyone's going to remember.
Mate, we're going to remember that. You're going to have to verify gender.
The day I am going to have to. Anybody. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter. Hey, Kia, are you a male or female? I'm just going to check everyone. I know Oddbjorn because, and I know Jodes is he's male, of the male gender. So yeah, Yeah, Ginger was saying that she got out and that was one of the last things she did was she ice climbed with axes and everything up this frozen waterfall. It looks so cool. I said
Yeah, it
I
does
wouldn't mind
actually.
doing that one day, but I don't know if I'll get the chance. I could probably climb up a flowing waterfall. That'd be the
Yeah.
closest we'll get to.
Well, I'm glad this is adventure related, mate. Otherwise, I'd say, what's the relevance of this? We don't need to hear this at all.
Oh, look, anything where she's having a go at you is relevant. You got to remember that. So, and she said she mentioned that she did the ice climbing, and she said that when she gets out, she's got a few things planned, and she says, "Tell Craig that Grandma Ginger invites you all to join us next time."
Okay, I can handle that.
Kia,
I would love to.
Kia's of the male gender. I got that one right. Hooray for me. Yeah, what that sounds like to me, Craig, is that she wants to invite you somewhere where she can kind of push you off a cliff or something. That's what it sounds like.
She can watch me cry
while she's making me a coffee and
Oh yeah.
unwrapping my picnic lunch and everything, she'd be, trying to set you up.
Right.
Maybe not off a cliff. Maybe just for an ankle twist or something.
Yeah. Or even just
hiking faster than you. That'd be enough.
Yeah, I think I would chicken out on some of her adventures, so that would make her happy too. That I just sat in the corner
down.
crying,
Yeah, that you didn't even
let me go
leave
home.
the house.
I want to go home.
She says she looks forward to the next podcast.
Yeah, no, she's good.
But there's a warning. Heed the warning, Craig. The warning is remind Craig to stay on his toes. This grandma can swing a mean ice axe.
Jeez.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, that's next level.
Got it in for you. It's ruined everything.
That escalated, but I like it. I do think that image is awesome.
Yeah. Good on you, Ginger.
Should ask her if we
in.
can put it somewhere because I like it.
Yeah, it's a great photo. Yeah, you're right. Hey, what I was going to say before I realised what I'd done wrong with Robin was I was speaking to the guys at, or one of the guys at Topo Maps Plus, and that's not only a sponsor of ours, but it's an app that allows you to, or how would you even say that? It tracks your trails, plan your trails, measure distances. They just keep adding functionality to it. Now, at the end, I know some of our subscribers actually have this app now. Some of our listeners might remember the last podcast of last year where I said that in the new year we would actually be doing a giveaway of a 12-month subscription to that service.
Is that right? I think I forgot that.
Well, I'm glad you turned up to this because you're learning something.
Yeah.
And in actual fact, I think it was two subscriptions, 2-year-long subscriptions.
Nice.
For listeners. Now, I was speaking to him last week, and I said, look, it's really difficult with the current situation and where everybody's at. I don't want to go giving away a fantastic, Mark says, excellent app, use it all the time. Good on you, Mark. They'd love to hear that. They would absolutely love to hear that. And I'm sure Mark would agree that the functionality that they've added in the last couple of updates is really cool. I'll get to that in a minute. But back to the giveaway, I said to him, look, it's going to be really difficult with everyone having different restrictions. And he said, look, it doesn't matter. When we get to the point where we give that away, we'll just wait until whoever that person is in their region, when they come online and they're allowed to hike again, then we'll start the 12-month subscription. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so basically when we work out what that is and how we choose those people, don't worry, because you're not going to have a 12-month subscription where you sit around for 4 months and can't use it. That's not a problem. But
Oh, that makes sense. That's good, mate.
yeah,
Really.
Mark said that just made it better. Yeah, there's things that in the past, and you'd know this from most GPS devices, is you have to have them on the whole time to record the trail, right?
Yeah.
So there's new things that they're introducing, and the cool thing about Stephen, who's the owner and the tech guy, is he's a mad hiker. He actually created the app because Josh, wow, you don't hear from Josh until we say the words giveaway.
There he is. Yeah.
This is a guy that when he turns up hiking, he has little baby tubes of toothpaste, and Craig says, "Where'd you get all those from?" He says, "Oh, I just send emails or letters to toothpaste companies and say, hey, I'd like to try. I'm thinking of switching toothpastes. Can you send me some samples?" And then they send him these hiking size samples. That's so funny.
I thought Josh was probably going to pipe up and say, mate, that you've got the app and it still doesn't stop you getting lost.
Oh yeah, that'd be his next comment. His comment on about when we first suggested doing a live Q&A was, what was it? It was pretty funny. It was something about, Tom, we're lost again.
Yeah.
And I mean, the start of this was like that. We were lost.
Oh, absolutely.
For 35 minutes. I'll take some of the blame for that.
We went to the wrong place.
I keep losing my train of thought. Oh, I'm talking about Topo Maps Plus. They have a feature now where you can set your route, plan the trail you want to go on. Then you can turn the Oddbjørn's leaving us.
See you, mate.
Thank you, Oddbjørn, for jumping in.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to speak soon. And no problems. He's got an early start tomorrow. Oddbjørn, we're going to talk to you real soon, mate. We're going to get you on the podcast. Good on you, mate. Take care. Back to the app.
So you can switch the GPS off then.
You can turn it off. And now when you turn the phone back on 2-3 hours later and reconnect, it'll tell you where you are on the trail, but you'll still be able to calculate the distance to where you're going, because that's obviously a lot of the problems with other GPS is once you turn them off, they can't calculate how far you've been.
Yeah.
And it gets really confusing and frustrating.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's obviously they explain it much better than me, but like I was saying before, he's a mad hiker, and the only reason he created this app was because he wanted the app for his own personal use.
Yeah.
And I was saying to one of the other guys there last week, I said, well, that's, you're going to get a good product if someone's creating it for themselves and then, releasing it to everybody else.
Didn't it get someone out of big trouble?
I see you, Kia. Thanks for jumping in. See you later, Robin, as well, and Oddbjørn.
Yeah.
Good on you. Thanks for joining us. That's been fantastic. Sorry, what were you saying, Craig?
I think it got someone out of big trouble, didn't it? They went out on their own.
That's exactly right. One of our podcast listeners actually was out. I think the way the story goes, it's on one of our old podcasts, but I think the way the story goes is they actually were out, then got lost, then somehow had not somehow. I mean, it's commonplace in some countries to have phone reception, just not Australia.
Those guys were just saying goodbye to Oddbjørn, not us. That's good though.
That's fair.
That's nice.
That is super polite. Kia's not going anywhere.
Neither's Robin.
Neither is Robin. Oh, g'day, Andy. Andy and Heather watching from the UK.
Cool. Sweet.
Right near the beach they are too. I hope you guys are safe. And thanks for sticking around, Kia and Robin.
Totally.
I'm not very good at this thing. Don't know what's going on.
What is this?
Everyone starts saying goodbye. I'm like, okay, fine.
Normally we just chat, man.
Normally we just chat.
this
This
is
is
too hard.
super distracting. This
hard.
is entering into the 10-minute mark on me trying to say one thing about topo maps.
Come on, get it out.
Get it out. Yeah, so the guy got lost. He downloaded the app. He worked out where he was. He hiked out of trouble. He got to safety. How cool is that?
Yeah, because you'd mentioned it one day.
Because I'd mentioned the app on the podcast. Well
done.
All the time. He remembered the name and he was able to download it while he had a connection out there and get home. That is a cool story. Oh, I've got this is cool. I'm moving along. This fits in with the whole snow leopard thing. Have you seen this video? It's what they've done in Pakistan is they've set up these high definition cameras all around the place because the snow leopard is so elusive. They say in the article it's one of the most difficult animals, definitely the most difficult cat in the world to learn about because, first of all, the altitude that it lives at is inhospitable to humans for the most part, and it's hard to get around. And obviously their agility puts them in ridiculously steep, dangerous terrain. So this is really hard to study. So they've been going out and putting in these cameras and obviously motion detection cameras and stuff. And this one just recently, so this article was from April 15th, not long ago at all. It's captured this snow leopard call. It's a male snow leopard. And I'll as usual, I don't know, if you YouTube, if you're a YouTube viewer who has never listened to a podcast, on HikeordieTV under the podcast page, I have an entry for every single podcast, and I'll do the same with this. And if you click on that, you'll get to an entire page of anything I've spoken about in the podcast. And you'll get all the references, so you'll be able to watch these videos. Or if I'm talking about a book, I usually have a link to that book, and so on and so forth. So if you're not familiar with that, you will be able to check out these things later. What's going on over there?
Josh just saying good day.
Oh, Josh is saying good morning. That's good. It's about time he was polite.
Let me hear this.
Okay, listen to this. Let me get my volume up. I'm just going to move my mic down there. I hope it doesn't make too much noise. This is a male snow leopard. Even the footage is cool. Check this out. Explain what's happening.
I can't see your mic's in the way. No, I can't see. Oh, he's just jumped down.
Get ready for it.
Huge tail.
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane. Wow. What's going on?
How cool is that? I hope you heard some of that. This guy
That looked great, and then he just walks out of frame at the end.
Yeah, it looked like it was all planned.
Amazing footage.
Yeah, incredible. Fantastic to see. They give some stats there. They estimate there's only 4 8,000 to 7,500 snow leopards left in the wild. So learning about them now through these cameras is obviously much more advantageous than it's ever been to try and get out and get data about them. So yeah, the altitudes they live at are between roughly 10,000 and 17,000 feet. So you're not even going to see one until you get to 10,000 feet, which is, as I said before, it's pretty difficult to get up there. They're highly elusive. There's actually another thing. This is pretty cool down the bottom of this article, and you'll be able to scroll down and see this. It's got another link here that says you might also like Let's Play Spot the Snow Leopard. And if I just click on that, Craig,
Yeah.
their camouflage is ridiculously good for their environment. Like, check that out. I'll give you a few seconds while I check what's going on over here. You won't find it. I spent 5 minutes looking at that thing.
Did you?
Yeah.
No, I can't. Oh, just above your mouse.
Up here somewhere.
Is that it?
Up here?
Yeah.
No. I'll show you when you click on this image, it actually shows you.
Oh.
It's insane. It looks like the pattern of its dots look like it's little rocks. Looks like it's made up of little boulders. It's crazy. So that's another reason why, even if you were out there trying to study them, you could sit there all day and not know that there's one sleeping 50 meters away from you.
Which part of the world do you reckon that was filmed?
Pakistan.
Pakistan, you said that. Oh,
yeah.
right.
Which is interesting because I got more media from Pakistan. I've never ever mentioned Pakistan, and now I've got 2 Pakistan stories.
Jeez.
They're in the news. Hang on, I'm just checking. Stephen, Stephen he's secretly watching. Thanks, mate. He just sent a message in Facebook. He's enjoying it, so I'm not sure what's wrong with Stephen. I'm kidding. Here's a pretty Australia-specific story, but I will tell it anyway for our Australian friends. There's a new walk. If you're probably not familiar, Australia doesn't have that many walks, long walks, multi-day walks, like somewhere like the US has. And we certainly don't have any that. I mean, if you mention the Appalachian Trail to people around the world, they automatically know what it is. Anyone who's done any sort of hiking is familiar with that. And they've got a couple of others that I can't remember, which, big name hikes that people all know around the world. But we don't really have that. We might have one. We've probably got one that other people would know, and that'd be the Overland Track.
Tassie, yep.
In Tasmania. I'm talking about foreigners here. So anyone overseas may know the Overland Track, but there's no way they would know the name of any of that. I don't reckon they'd know the name of any other trail.
Yeah, right.
But this is kind of they're setting up to create one in the Blue Mountains. The Blue Mountains is I've never visited there, but from the imagery I've seen, it's absolutely spectacular down there. Some amazing landscape for sure. If you're sitting on your computer, guys, Google the Blue Mountains, Australia. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So what they're doing there is setting up a 316-kilometre loop that will link the Blue Mountains, Wollondilly, and the Southern Highlands together. There's a map here, Craig. I'll get rid of that ad. check that out. So it's
Yeah.
absolutely huge.
Yeah.
And then it says later on, don't worry, you don't have to tackle the entire 316 Ks. They're going to have smaller day walks and overnighters as part of the trip as well. But what's so different? What's so different about this for us in Australia is that it's hitting towns, and that's not usual. Normally, our multi-day hikes, like if you want to talk about the overland track as an example, even if you want to talk about that, what was that one that Andy did, the Australian Alps or something?
Australian Alps, yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that there were many touch points there. He had to go out,
Very isolated.
as he did in Tasmania. He had to go out 6 months in advance and plant food in massive tubs that he would seal, and he would chain them or tie them to a tree, and basically come back months later and know where that food was. So it's very rare to see a hike that actually drops into towns, which means that you can set something up for the first, well, I say for the first time. To my knowledge, I think this would be one of the first hikes where you could actually set yourself up and have food drops so that you're not carrying. I mean, how long would it take to do that? It'd have to take 3 to 4 weeks, wouldn't it? Because you think overland's 60, 70 to 100 kilometres, depending on which route you take.
Yep.
Even when I did the 100, it was took me 7 days.
Yep.
So, and that was not having any rest days or taking it easy. So you got to think that 316.
That's fantastic.
I would also suggest that some of this terrain would be as brutal and steep as as some of the stuff we went through on the overland.
So they're going to have some cabins?
I don't believe there's been any mention of cabins yet.
Just
I think they're talking about campsites, which I think I'd probably have to say that's a good thing in a lot of ways.
But then when you arrive at the towns, you can have accommodation.
When you arrive at the towns, you could have pre-booked and you could drop in.
They look like they'd be a day apart.
They look like they're about a day apart. It actually says here, Balmoral to Hilltop's only 7 Ks. Not far at all. They might be half a day apart. Depends on the terrain, obviously.
It does, yeah. But that's great.
But you could make a decision. You go, okay, when we get to that town, we're going to book a room. We're going to have a shower.
Yep.
We're going to wash some clothes, restock food because I've got my food delivered to this place where we're staying in a parcel.
No, that'll be popular.
It's an opportunity. It will be popular, and I hope that it takes off because, as I said, this is a very, very different type of hike for Australians because of that reason, that you have
that's right.
an opportunity to duck in, move through a town, restock, resupply, and then move again instead of doing food drops or trying to carry 30 days of food, which is obviously, I'd say, near on impossible.
I guess some of those trails would already be there.
I believe you're right on that too, because it does mention that it joins up some. Hey, everybody who's listening, feel free to jump in that chat and ask some questions. I mean, I will get to some questions that I've got from listeners, mainly you, Jodes. But if you want to jump in and ask a question while we're talking, go for it. I'm real flexible. I'm just that kind of guy. You just do whatever you like. Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
That's pretty good news.
Yeah, that's great. I'll look into that. So this is new news that we'll learn more about.
Yeah.
What are they going to call it?
The Great Burragarang Valley Walk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Burragarang Valley.
Look, there's a picture there. You
Good.
got to assume that you're moving up and down through those valleys and doing some of those brutal climbs like we did in Tassie, where you you go over a ridge and spend the whole day climbing up the next one.
Yep, nice.
No, it's great. I thought that was that's only recent news as well. That is exciting stuff. That's the sort of
walk
thing
in the midst. Yeah, that'll be great.
That's something I would definitely sign up for. The problem with having done the overland track, knowing it so well, and knowing just how beautiful it is we don't have the choices that you have in other countries, and another walk like this it'd just be great to know that it's set up for that duration, and then you can really go down and do something crazy down there. Because other than that, there's really only... Remember that Green Gully track?
Yeah.
Robin.
He's going home. So that going to bed or something. I don't know. He's just giving.
It depends on the time. It could be really late there, I think. Yeah, thanks, Robin. He's apologising for putting me in an awkward position earlier, but it...
Thanks, Robin. I liked it.
It turned into... Yeah, Craig enjoyed it. It turned into... well, he thought it was pretty funny, so it turned into comedy gold, apparently. Mm-hmm. Yes, we'll catch up. Take care of yourself, and we will do an entire episode on hiking and camping with kids, mate, so keep an ear out for that. Okay? Thank you. Right, that's good news. Anyway, full of good news over here. What else did I have? Oh, this is... I like to throw... I have a pretty broad... I cast my net wide when I'm gathering outdoor-related topics.
Yep, sure.
So they might not be hiking, they might not be climbing or whatever, but I think they're of interest, and as I've said before, I like to think that some of our listeners find this at least mildly interesting. Hey, what would be, if you were a long-legged fly? Just kind of like do some method acting here. If you were a long-legged fly, what would be the worst way to die, or the most embarrassing way to die? A long-legged fly, and you're I can't give away that. Nothing? You got nothing?
Caught in a spider's web, wrapped up.
That's a pretty good one. It'd be horrible, but it's not embarrassing. Now, the most embarrassing way to go, I think, would be to get caught in amber or pine resin or some kind of resin.
Resin, okay.
While you were in the act of fornication.
What?
Yeah, that would pretty much. I mean, you go out on a high, right?
Yeah.
You're having the time of your life, bang, you.
What is a long-legged fly?
Well,
looks like a mosquito.
It kind of does, doesn't it? So they found some. They've started finding. You're laughing at the photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a photo of these two long-legged flies while they're mating.
Yeah, yes.
They've obviously got caught in this resin and perfectly preserved. This amber is in the vicinity of 40 million years old.
Oh, so you can't come across any long-legged flies.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they've mutated. I don't know. It's hard to tell the size of this. That might be those flies might be that big. I don't know. It doesn't show any reference to size, but you can see there that the amber has perfectly preserved them. So what? And there's a bit of a nerdy bit. It's quite funny in this, where apparently the the southern hemisphere is not that renowned for these kind of archaeological finds, especially amber. Apparently, something to do with climate or the way things happened in Pangaea. Do you recognise that name?
Yes.
Pangaea's an awesome Brisbane band name, and they obviously stole it from the.
You can't get their stuff. Well, you probably can. I'm just saying I couldn't find it. Couldn't find it.
I used to have an album. I don't know if I've still got it somewhere. Anyway, these guys are really excited because it's basically this amber has put us onto the map for actually having these kinds of things now, which I guess is good for somebody. Oh, Kia knows Pangaea.
Really? That's cool. No, they were an awesome band. Ben Eli, wasn't it?
Ben, it was just. Oh no, yeah, it was Ben, the bass player, and the guitarist from Regurgitator. Not the drummer, and Quan, the guitarist, did not sing in Pangaea, I don't believe.
Because Ben did. Ben Eli did.
I think so.
I think. Yeah.
So, but then when they split off and started Regurgitator, another great band. Regurgitator, look it up. It's a 90s Brisbane band. Craig and I have both seen them live. You've seen them live, haven't you?
Yeah. I actually don't know if I ever got to see Regurgitator live.
Yeah, I saw Regurgitator live and I was very impressed with their just everything, the show and the way they.
There's lots of other bands that like Resin Dogs and all that. That I did get to see.
Very closely related.
That's got the drummer and stuff. Yeah.
Kia said he saw their reunion gig after Regurgitator split up.
Oh right.
That's cool. I think I vaguely remember seeing that. What's that? 5IEIE. First of all, hello, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. What is that? That's going to be a word?
Potatoes, or no?
That's going to be a technical term, isn't it? Oh wow. Kia used to have a bass guitar signed by Ben and Quan, but someone stole it.
No.
Well, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
No, well, it's good that if we did veer off topic there, even Kia knows of them.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Back to topic, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I'm struggling to find that. If that's a term... If that's a term about archaeology, I'm not familiar with it, and I can't find it in the article either. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. It puts us on the map for archaeology. And I thought it was interesting the way they died. In love.
In love. Not a bad way to
go. Excuse me. I'm going to keep going with... my back's getting sore. I might have to get that coffee soon, mate.
Yeah, well, I'm up for it. You're going to start asking some questions. What are we doing next?
No, because we both got to be here for the questions.
Give us a little bit of
I'll just go into Tom's magical mystery media mashup. How about I go into that?
Yep, sure.
And sound all right?
Yep. Back soon.
Same again, please, mate. You did well taking my instructions. Craig's leaving to... he's going to make me, or both of us, a coffee, which is really so very kind of him. I think he's doing it just to kind of impress you guys who are watching and listening, because He would never normally do that. It's hard to get anything out of him, ever really. Okay, I want to talk about this. There's a mountain in Antarctica called Mount Erebus. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly, but I somehow stumbled across this YouTube video, and again, I'll share that link with you guys. It's fantastic footage of, they're doing a search and rescue training flight. I believe that's my understanding of what I saw, or at least what I read in there. And this guy's taken a camera and he's filmed flying across Antarctica, and it just looks like a wasteland. It's completely flat and white, and then out of the middle there's this active volcano, and they fly right over and do circles right over the top of this volcano, which has steam coming out of it. I had no idea that. I knew of that mountain. I knew it was there, but I had no idea that it was active. That's incredible. So it's pretty cool footage. It's not a story or a film of any sort, but I just thought it was interesting watching. It's certainly spectacular. I don't think that any of us are ever going to get to hike there. Pretty sure they're not opening any trails down that way. And there's another documentary that excuse me. There's another documentary that the Pathan Project. It's a 45-minute documentary, and with all the COVID-19 coronavirus stuff, they've actually made it available. I'm not sure how long it's going to be available, so when I manage to get the show notes up in the next couple of days, I will post that on our Facebook page, and you'll be able to go and get the link. But in the meantime, if you looked up the Pathan Project, Pathan Project, this is the other Pakistan story I was talking about. These guys decide that they want to go and climb these unclimbed routes in Pakistan. And when you look at the terrain, I have to say I really didn't have any idea how vast it was, how extreme it was. There's some of the shots. There's a fantastic drone shot that cruises down this canyon, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was as deep, if not deeper, than something like the Grand Canyon. It didn't have the width, but it was insane. And the rocks, it really looked like it had been carved out, and it goes right down to a wedge at the bottom. So they travel for a few days to get to spots where they're going to start climbing. Now, a disclaimer, I've only watched about a third of it, so I haven't seen how it ends. And I wasn't going to mention it today for that very reason, because I didn't want to recommend anything that I hadn't seen. But I think that I wanted to get this out to you in case you're still stuck in quarantine, because I think it's a good watch. It'll take up 45 minutes of your day, and it's fantastic. Best watch on YouTube with your subtitles engaged, because there's a lot of different languages going on there. So that's a pretty cool documentary. I'm going to kick over to some questions now. I can hear Craig tinkering away there, making me a coffee. Oh, he's come back just in time.
Here you go, Mott.
Thanks, man. That's weird how it's backwards. Hey, you wrote my name on my cup.
Have we done something wrong?
Cheers.
Okay.
I don't know. I could make the obvious joke that we're always backwards.
Always.
Oh, that's hot. Thank you. Good timing, mate. I just you'll have to listen back to the audio later. I was talking about the other Pakistan story, which this group of climbers goes and climbs these unclimbed routes. I was just telling everyone how crazy the terrain was. I do want to show you something real quick. There's one particular drone shot where I guess, like I was saying, I just didn't understand. I just didn't understand that
Wow.
that's what it's like. I don't know what I thought. I was thinking more flat desert with maybe a spine of ranges, but this is
It's just all over, just
out of
peaks,
control.
all directions, not just like a ridge.
No, it's as far as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this trail. You love your heights. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Check out this shot. I want to show you this shot.
Oh, no.
It gets better. Look at that. That's what I was just telling the guys about. Look how deep that gorge is. It's a wedge. Look how small the people are.
All right.
And they're walking around the edge. Look at that.
No way.
Insane. Absolutely. This shot here is pure gold. Incredible. So yeah, worth watching. I was saying I've only watched about a third of that, but I'll probably finish it tonight or tomorrow or something. All right. We're going to questions.
Excellent.
Does anyone in the chat have a question?
I've been looking in case.
No. Do you have any hike, or it doesn't have to be hiking related? Let's start with hiking related. Is there anything about gear or how we do things, or just anything about hiking that anyone wants to know?
Fashion.
Fashion. Here's your man, right? Hair and fashion, makeup on the trail. He's world renowned for it. So jump in the chat and say stuff. In the meantime, I'm jumping over to some nicely prepared questions that Jode's sent.
Okay, I'll get us started.
He is extremely excited about this. Okay.
Right.
The great thing about Jode's questions are they will really get us thinking. I deliberately didn't read through them all properly or spend any time thinking about them because I wanted them to be just to be a kind of as natural a reaction as possible. His first question is,
Okay, yep.
Who is Tom and Craig?
Who is Tom and Craig?
Oh, Jodes is excited.
Bring it on, he says.
Who is Tom and Craig? Mm-hmm. That's a great question because it's there's so many different ways that you can approach that. Mm-hmm. My assumption is who we are when we're not hiking.
Okay.
Do you want to talk a bit about what you do?
Yeah.
To make your bucket loads of cash.
That's it. That's it. Well, I don't always hike. I have a full-time job, so I'm working as an audiologist. So if you do know what that is, some people, when I first started doing it, no one even knew what we were. But yeah, had to study hard, got a master's degree and ended up, just basically testing hearing and hearing aid fittings, and been doing that for a long, long time now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I've been doing it for over 10, maybe 15 years now. So that's good. That's what I do most days. But make sure I take some holidays and get out, have some fun on the weekends. Is that what you mean?
I think so. I mean, what I like about the question, and it's what I like about a lot of things in Q&A sessions is it's open to interpretation.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure Jodes he's not shy. He's going to tell you in those comments if either of us get anything wrong, he'll be the first to to tell us.
That's the professional me. I've got the 3 kids that you may hear running around upstairs soon.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't. That'd be hilarious.
And been playing music and in bands for many years, and have read so much about how to engineer sound, and been playing around in studios for a long time. So yeah, that's my other interest. But don't get paid for that sort of stuff, do we? No, there's no money. No money in that.
Not with cold hard cash.
No.
You get paid in beautiful experiences.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
Josh.
That's Craig. Who's Tom?
Oh, Joe just says it is an open question. Incredible, Craig. Josh, I have seen you. Excellent question, Josh. I will get to that one, mate. I could finish this one off first. Who is Tom? Where do I start?
Jeez, we're going to have some background music for this.
I don't know where to start. If I talk about right now, I'm a website, so a digital producer, which is basically managing teams around the world to build websites for clients. And prior to that, so at the moment I work for a company, but I work from home, which is nice because I'm cutting off about 2.5 hours of transit each day, which is obviously more time to do other stuff. And prior to that, I worked in some of the biggest, or definitely the biggest advertising agencies in Brisbane, about 5 different ones over the last 10 or 12 years. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I built up the skill set to where I am now and made all the contacts that I have. It's not really, I don't wake up in the morning and get super excited about building websites, but I don't hate it. And that's a really, really, really good start, because I have done jobs I've hated, and it is grueling to turn up and have to deal with people you don't like, or a job you don't like. It's tough. So that's a plus, is I do enjoy it, and my skill set just means that I can do that. I can do it quite well, and I enjoy it. And I just like having a good laugh while I'm doing it. I try to keep it as lighthearted as possible, not take anything too seriously. But outside of that, you see, that doesn't really say much about me, because it's so far removed from the person that I think I am. I put it this way. If I met someone for the first time and they say, "Hey, Tom, what are you all about?" I'm not going to sit there and say, "Well, I'm a digital producer and I get websites built," because as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't say anything about me. If someone said, "What are you?" I'd say, "I'm the guy who, it gets in the fire pit in the backyard and cooks a pork roast in a camp oven, or a chili con carne, or I throw some axes in the backyard." In fact, Josh has been there to at least 4 of these events. Mm-hmm. And we just throw axes and we sit around a campfire and we talk and laugh. And last time Craig and I played a bit of guitar and some dirty banjo, and that to me, that represents me better than my work role. But I come from a background, quite a creative background originally, which is, again, why I'm lucky enough to be able to manage all of our social media streams and everything like that. It just happened to have that skill. But I originally was a huge surfer. I surfed a lot. I lived in a place called Noosa, and Josh says best campfire chili. I do. I am proud of my chili con carne.
Yeah.
I surfed for a long, long time. That's what I thought I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing. That's why I moved to that area. and I surfed in Fiji and around Australia. I've surfed in San Diego. I lived there for 3 months, and I really enjoy it. I did enjoy it. Once a year or so now I'll go and do that, but it doesn't have this multi-dimensional facets that hiking does. Like it's not even close. And I can say that because I've spent so much time doing both. I've pushed myself physically and mentally in surfing to get to what I believe is almost as far as I could, at least in the time I had to spend. And if I compare that to what I've got out of hiking, it's nowhere near as much. Like there's so many, as I said, so many dimensions to hiking. You still got the fitness, you've still got the mental challenges, you've got the physical challenges, you've got, obviously, you can't tap out of a hike when you're 3 days into a 7-day hike. You can tap out of a surf whenever you want. I've had enough. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Oh, I just got smashed by that wave. I'm a bit scared. I'm just going to go in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that when you're midway through a hike. So it gives you so much more because you have to put so much in.
No, I know how much you used to love surfing, man. So it's great to hear that you reckon you love hiking. You think it gives you more than surfing did.
Yeah, most definitely. Some of the best days surfing that I can remember, one would be in Fiji. One morning we went out in Fiji and I was in really good shape, and we surfed for about 3 hours until I could not move my arms, and I got some of the best waves of my life. And I'm not going to lie, that was a good day.
Pretty special, yeah.
I've had similar days at Noosa, but it's only one. Oh, here comes some little kidlets. Oh, wow. Hello.
You're supposed to be upstairs.
The kids just walked in.
Oh, this is like one of those.
How you doing?
Bad,
Oh, yeah, this is like one of those...
bad videos. Do you want to say hello?
No, she doesn't want to say hello. Do you want to say hello to me? No.
We're just talking about...
You got a shock, didn't you? You didn't expect us to be here, did you? That's hilarious.
Did you have a good sleep? Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Josh.
Can you go back upstairs?
Yeah, I do set a reasonably high. See you later. We'll get the door. Don't worry. Oh, that was hilarious.
It's not every day you beat the kids up, is it? So we were up before them.
Yeah, exactly. It's super rare. I left my kids this morning. I snuck out past them. There's the 3 kids lined up on the ground in the lounge room in front of the fireplace, sleeping, and the dog curled up at their feet.
Is that right?
And if you don't know, I never let the dog inside. But we had a real cold snap here, and he's getting old, getting arthritis and stuff, and my kids come and begged me if they slept on the lounge room floor, can he come in? And I said, great, do it. Just do it. Tom's showing off about the surfing bit. Give it a rest, Joe. It's not meant to come across that way. My point is quite simply that I took that as far as it could, and what I get out of hiking is far beyond what I've ever got out of surfing. Next question. Hey, let's jump to
There's
Josh's
one
question.
from Josh, isn't it?
He says he's actually amazed that he's never asked this because we have spent a lot of time together. What's your dream hike, bucket list hike, anywhere in the world? Go.
No, you go first.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No, you go. Okay. That's a tough one. It used to be a hike called the Milford Milford Sound, the Milford track in Milford Sound in New Zealand.
Yep.
That's what I thought was, when I was just getting into hiking, for me, that was the pinnacle of beauty. And I mean, you are quite literally moving through, if you're familiar with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, you're quite literally moving through that terrain. You actually are.
Beautiful.
At some points, I would argue that you're probably within 50 kilometres, 100 kilometres from where scenes were filmed in the film. So you're literally moving through that rolling countryside. You know, there's that awesome drone shot in or chopper shot in the movie. I can't remember which one. It might be the first one where they're running along that ridge line and it flies over and you see that's all real. That's all real, and it's all in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So for me, it was also recommended by a friend. So I thought I've got to do it. It's the one for me. Then I did the overland track in Tasmania, and I just kind of, I don't know, like I want to do the Milford Sound? Yeah, I still want to do that. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that for now because it's kind of caught me off guard, which I guess is the thing.
Yeah, I mean...
Joe's a joke. Good on you. I know you were, mate.
Yeah.
You keep talking it because you're really good at just running this show by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go to my other office and I'll be back, eh?
Well, the other day...
So you just answer that question.
Oh, well, yeah. No, the other day I had to run this place by myself. You were at your place. I had this place myself.
That's a fact.
That was quite different. I liked it.
Oh, my ears are sore.
All right.
I'll be back.
Don't be too long. I'll run out of things to say. There's no doubt. You know, I get shy.
Don't forget what the question is.
I know. I think I know what the question is. Where would you go anywhere in the world for a hike? Well, close by, I would love to go to Kokoda Trail in PNG. Because that's, culturally very significant for us here in Australia, where a lot of veterans fought, and apparently it's insane to do. A friend of mine's done it in the last couple of years. Said it's very challenging, very rewarding to sort of do something that has a little bit of spirituality attached to it. So I really like that. I might put that on the list, I think. I'd love to do a really immersive hike one year. Something like the Appalachian Trail, where you can just, switch off from the world for months. That would be on the list, as well. As to where exactly in the world, I haven't really decided. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to stay local for a while. Work through some trails I haven't done around
Look what I found.
Australia.
I didn't know you had this.
Yeah.
Have you been entertaining the people?
It's hard without you, mate. You're the life.
So what did you actually say? Just in a one-line answer, what did you actually say your dream hike was? Only because I'm actually interested.
Kokoda, I said.
Oh, wow. Gee, that's extreme.
I know it is. It's tough. So I said that...
You mean the real one too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you explain what that was?
Yeah, I did say it's culturally significant and that, people fought on the trail. Nice.
If you hear that, it's not a ringtone, it's the real thing.
Very good.
That could be in between question sound or something.
But as we were moving through our sort of development in hiking, mate, I always had that in my head that we were kind of doing some rough stuff and working towards that being the pinnacle of kind of the toughest around. But, I was just also saying I wouldn't mind doing a real immersive one where you can go for months on end, and if I could make it fit into my life, go and...
I agree on both counts.
Yeah.
Kokoda was on a list at some point. I know a lot of people have been up there, and it's a scary region, not just for the hiking. So I think as I had more and more kids, my level of how crazy I'm going to go has kind of reduced.
Yeah, of course. It is a bit crazy.
Once they're kind of out of the house and that sort of stuff, I think you'll probably see it escalating again, because I feel like I was there when they needed me, and if something was to happen after that, it's nowhere near as bad. It sounds real bad talking about that, but I think you get the picture.
Yeah. No, but I mean, talking directly to who was it that left before, and he was talking about hiking with kids. We might have to find some trails that Robin, that incorporate the kids now.
Yeah. And see, mate, that overland track, I know I keep talking about overland track, it's just such a well maintained track. I honestly believe I could take my 2 eldest tomorrow. Well, maybe not tomorrow, because I'd like to build them up with a few day walks, but within a short amount of time I could have them ready for that. I 100% believe that. Yeah, I bumped into kids almost exactly the same age on the trip prior to ours, and with their parents, and I truly believe my kids would knock that over now. Yeah,
righto. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to have to come into decision making a little bit.
Most definitely will. I knew that would happen.
Things change a little
eventually,
bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, isn't it? Do you want me to... You're answering this next question first, okay? Because I answered that one first. Oh, you finished?
Yep, that was all I wanted to say, mate. That sounds good. I just go wherever Tom goes. That's what I do.
Which is anywhere lost. I wait for it. Yeah. Oh, we had an unstable connection there for a second. I was going to say wait for Josh to jump in with a lost comment. Anytime hiking with Tom is always off trail because he's lost. Oh, here's a good one, Craig. Yep. Hang on, I'll do the sound. How did you both get into hiking / backpacking?
Oh,
it's another question from Jodes.
Yeah, right. Well, we just got into it because, if you really look at it, I needed some challenges at that point in my life that were a bit, out of my comfort zone. So it seemed like a good way to sort of lose a bit of weight and get a bit healthier and tackle something that you felt good at the end. It was just a challenge that I found it was kind of something that was accessible. And once we started doing it, the honest thing is it was pretty hard. It was pretty, it wasn't quite as enjoyable at the start, but because we could make little progressions and see the change and see the development, I thought that was something good for long-term development as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of saw that climbing to the top of a hill kind of, was the right thing to do at that point in my life. And I just wanted to keep getting better at it, eh?
Do you remember the first...
Yeah, I'm thinking of it.
Kind of conversations we had?
Oh, conversation.
Great. Josh says he'll stop with the... And he stopped typing. Lost.
Yeah. Remind me.
I was hoping you'd remember.
Because you can't.
Well, I can. I'm just doing it.
So some of the first conversations that we had... Well, like when I was at Bribey and we were playing music.
That's right.
Trying to make some new sort of sounds, and then I think we said...
Josh says he'll stop with the lost jokes or he might not get invited next time. That's pretty intuitive of you.
Yes. Yeah, not sure, man. I think we wanted to start doing something that was a little bit out of the ordinary. When we want to try and do some survival stuff, was that some of our first conversations, or was that after our first hike?
I think that it led to that. Sorry, I'm just being a bit rude. I'm just updating the internets just in case people are still coming online and trying to get to that old link.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, it's all good. So my recollection of it was, I can't honestly say what, because I can't remember what the catalyst was.
Yeah,
I
right.
cannot remember a defining moment. I can't remember if I saw a film. I can't remember if it was a comment, which is kind of sad. I wish I had made a note of. Perhaps I didn't know at the time either. But what I do remember is saying to you, in very, very similar words to this, I don't feel like I don't feel like a real man. Okay, so you can take that comment out of context, and you can dissect and you can make fun of it, whatever. And but what I was trying to say was, there's something missing in, like, everything we do is too easy. Everything is convenient. Even, and that's where I go back to the surfing thing. It's pretty easy. I mean, yeah, I think 2 occasions I nearly died while surfing, which is probably about equal to hiking, really.
Yeah, yeah.
No, two occasions I nearly drowned, or got stuck out, and it potentially could have turned into something really bad. And I've seen a few sharks out there, but nothing's ever come near me. But back to my point is, you can just sit around all day and do nothing. I didn't feel like I was pushing myself. I didn't feel like I was part of the environment.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just dip in and dip out whenever I felt like it. So I remember a first conversation with you, and so when I talked to you, I'd already kind of thought about this in my head for a while, which is usually the case. I usually bombard you with I just saw a comment from Kia. Kia says, just give Josh the map next time.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably a great idea. Or maybe I'll actually pay more attention to topo maps next time I've got it on.
Yeah.
Instead of in my pocket. I didn't feel like I was pushing myself at all, and I felt like getting out in the wilderness would bring out something inside of me that I hadn't tapped into yet.
Yeah, I do remember that conversation.
Yeah.
And it was more along the lines of the skills with getting outdoors and learning how to, fires without matches and that sort of stuff that we touched on. And I kind of thought, yeah, it's funny though, if you say that you didn't feel like a man, Jodes and Robin are going to say that's my key to say to you, they didn't know if you're a man either. They weren't sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Manly, not even manly, humanly, because I'm sure that I'm not even trying to backtrack here. I'm just saying, I'm sure that there comes a time in a woman's life where she's kind of thinking, well, what is this all about? How do I tap into something different? Or is this my life? Do I just go and hang out with my friends and go to cafes and, whatever?
Yeah, but
whatever women do. I don't know what women do. But, it's no different from what we do. We just hang out and take it easy.
Yeah, but being a man means getting back to your roots and your nature and, the ancestry.
Well, that's sexist. Do you realise we're live?
Yes. Yes, and for a woman it's the same.
I think it's getting back to
their heritage and their
being
roots
a man or woman.
Exactly.
Because we had a fantastic guest on just before Christmas, Claire Dunn, and she actually
did it.
Went into the wilderness and lived for a year in a hut that she built. Incredible, great podcast if you want to go back and check that out. Fantastic book, which we've both read. And she obviously, she was saying that she had felt she'd lost a connection with nature as well, living her city life.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I think that's where it came from for us, and we've definitely, made some
It's
progress.
evolved, and you're right about the first part of it was. The first part of it it seemed like it had to be, oh, we have to go into an extreme environment. We have to take bare minimums. We have to suffer. We did all that, and what we've learned from that is, yes, we definitely found out a lot about ourselves in those.
Yeah.
There's a video, a two-part video, I think, where we did 4 days with... we had 2 muesli bars each, granola bars, if you will, for our US friends, and some tea and coffee, and that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. And at the time, I really enjoyed that.
I did. Yeah. I'm not going
Loved
to
it.
lie. I enjoyed it.
And it's not that I wouldn't do it anymore. It's just that I think we had to do that. And, it feels like we did it for a while, properly.
I feel like it was trying to discover which part of the outdoors we wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
We wanted to have involvement with.
Yep.
And not knowing anything, I automatically gravitated to that extreme stuff. Oh, let's do something that really tests us. But later on, you realize there is enough tests. If you hike long enough, there is enough tests out without trying to put yourself in some mock survival situation. There's enough to keep you going. I mean, the times we've been in trouble when we are on a trail, got all the good gear, everything's organized, we're in good physical shape, and we still find ourselves in the middle of a massive storm cell on the edge of a cliff. Like that sort of stuff, you couldn't script it, but it's there, and it's going to pop up the more time you spend outdoors. The more remote you get, it's going to pop up, and you don't need to set yourself up for it.
No, but it is good to set yourself up and
I think so.
Look closely at building a shelter. Look closely at building a fire with minimal stuff. And I'm glad we did that, and still doing it in some ways at times. So,
well, who's to say that didn't set us up for more success in some of the other scary situations we've been in?
Yep. So that's where it sort of started as well, was a bit of experimenting with, our limits for building shelters and survival.
Yeah. And I don't know if you feel the same, but my enjoyment now, I can have just as much enjoyment on a well-graded trail as I can on off-trail.
Yep.
And to be quite honest, and Josh will laugh at this, but going off trail requires a different mindset, because especially in Australia, if you're going to make up and I don't even mean walk on a trail, I mean make up your own path. Do you remember we did that at Girraween?
Yeah.
We literally looked at a map and said we want to go from here across to there on the first day, and there was 0 trails. It was brutal.
It was thick.
It was thick vegetation.
And
we did it. We did it.
Yeah.
But it's completely different type. You've got to be mentally prepared for that. Even the Stinson track is graded in parts, but then other parts you feel like you're just walking in the middle of nowhere for hours and hours, and that you need to be pretty mentally stable for that, for trips like that. So again, I don't think you have to try and make up these situations, because you're going to end up in them anyway.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, that's good.
Joes, you've typed the letter A. Does that mean shut up and move on to my next question?
Yep.
Oh, hang on. Craig, is it true you enjoy the wacky weed and whiskey combo?
No, not exactly. That's not true. Tom makes that up. All of it is made up. There's no truth in that.
No truth in the whiskey even.
No, I like a bit of whiskey. That's all right. I will have a bit of whiskey.
Do you always take a hip flask?
No, not always. But
not always.
would like to.
Just laughing now. That's a good question. Thank you very much to Jodes for that. Yeah, but there's, I mean, this is the only time you haven't drunk while we've been doing any sort of podcast, because I guess it was 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough.
Joe just saying, okay, put another shrimp on the barbie. You're trying to change the subject there. Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, if I drank, I'd think of nothing better than sitting here with a drink while we talk rubbish, because it's just a good conversation. And if we were sitting around my campfire, we'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah, just my Scottish heritage, mate. Just have a bit of whiskey, you know.
Hey,
Irish up that coffee, yeah.
Irish up that coffee. That's cool.
Yeah.
Jamie. Oh, Jamie.
Now, here's another one.
Yeah. Well, you never attempt these things. That's why I always end up making a fool of myself.
I reckon.
Are you the same Jamie who has messaged me in Instagram? Because that's a very interesting spelling, and I don't think I've seen that before. Anyway, you say hello. It's been so great to Jamie, and yes, I am. It is Jamie. How you doing? It's great. Thanks so much for joining us. She says, great to have us back. The break over summer was too long. Yes, it was. I hope that in the last podcast, I hope that we covered off all our apologies and explained why we didn't get to you guys for some time. So, Mark, I just saw a question from Mark. What do you eat on the trail? Excellent question.
No.
Go. Or is it my turn to go?
You go first.
Well, it's because you answered the last one, because I didn't want to actually answer if it was true about the whiskey and wacky weed, because I'd just get you into trouble. What do we eat on the trail? Okay, this is a great question, because it's an evolution, and it's a continuing evolution, or at least, I know it is for Craig as well. Initially, I was trying to take things from home and cook them up. I was taking dehydrated peas and that fake potato mix, stuff like that. I was trying to take things like that were available at supermarkets and try and construct something out of it. What I found pretty quickly was I was coming up short a lot, and I also did some of the stereotypical things that at the time I thought, you got to have granola bars, muesli bars, so you've got to have trail mix, because that's what you do, that's what everyone does. And what I was finding was, and this is probably true of a lot of even the hiking foods that we have now, is there's a big difference between maybe not the amount of calories you're consuming at home, but the way in which you get those calories and the freshness of that food. So what happens is you go from, for argument's sake, dinner at home, and then the next day you're eating this weird food. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so different.
Yeah,
and your body kind of goes, whoa, hang on a second, mate. Last night I was sleeping in bed, everything was good, and now you're dragging me out here. You're chucking this pack on my back I haven't had on for months, and you're doing all this crazy stuff. And then when it comes time for me to rehydrate and get some calories, you give me this weird stuff. And I think that that can cause some shock, and I know for a lot of people it does. I know, Dark Earth Project. That's a
G'day.
kick-ass name. How you doing? Where are you from? Good morning. Where was I? Yeah, I think it can be a big shock to the body, and they actually recommend that when you're trying new dehydrated foods, for argument's sake, that you would actually try those a couple of times at home, because a lot of people, they can end up doing a lot of squatting on the trail, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So just like physical training,
physical training.
Train your stomach.
If you're not, well, and your legs. If you're not squatting, if you're not doing squats in your lead up, and then it's time to do a 90-second squat. Holy heck, it hurts. Starts shaking, so and the last thing you want to do is fall down.
Yes. I do remember there was times when I didn't understand as much, and I would honestly just take what I'd eat at home, and that has its virtue. Like I remember taking sandwiches and stuff.
Little packed lunch
in the earlier days.
Right. That's interesting.
I just do recall that, and then
Dark Earth, Western Australia.
Cool.
Oh, fantastic.
But then remember, we used to get these like curry meals, and the rice was in a sealed packet, so you could just stick that in the boiling water. You remember they were like
Sorry, I got distracted. Thank you, Dark Earth. Yeah, we're still going. We had a rough start, started about half an hour late, but just decided to approach it like a normal podcast. So we're answering questions. So good timing, mate. Shoot
away.
Yes, Jamie, it is super early. It's not super early now. It's 8:30 a.m. But I left my home at 4:30 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
And we still weren't ready on time. Sorry, mate. You were saying?
Oh, we just tried heaps of different things.
Yep.
Those curries with the rice. Remember they were in those silver packets?
Yeah. I know.
They were convenient, and
They tasted fantastic.
Hydrated. You didn't have to bring water with you for them. You just had to boil with dirty water.
They were heavy because they were already hydrated.
Yep.
And that's something. Well, at least if I speak for myself, that's one reason that we moved away from the hydrated food, was for that.
Yeah. But then obviously these things here.
Oh, Craig's just grabbing a packet. We are not sponsored by these guys.
No, but this is the Australian. So what do they have over there? You were telling me the brand from the States that was very popular.
Mountain
Meals or something.
Something like that.
Anyway, this is backcountry.
Hey, Mark.
Dehydrated.
Oh, it was Mark that asked the question.
Sorry,
so he's obviously still on. What's that mountain something brand that you guys have? The only reason I mention it is because it's one of the only ones I hear pop up. Mountain Meals? Man, I think it was cooler than that. It's the equivalent of that. We get this one.
But just like you said, if you're not used to
Mountain
eating
House, something like that. Sorry,
right.
It's something like that. Anyway, I'm sure you understand. It's a packet dehydrated meal.
Yeah.
That's our equivalent.
Yeah.
They're hit and miss, right?
Yeah.
Not hit and miss in calories, or they're easy to stomach. They're easy to prepare. But that's kind of what we've moved to, I guess, to answer the question. Now, what I've noticed through hiking with other people, and this is so cool about hiking with other people, and also when I've hiked on busier trails, like when I've done the overland track 3 times, and every time I've run into people and I've seen the most unusual food, the unusual ways of preparing the food, and things I think that's so unbelievably simple. So unbelievably simple. Why aren't we doing it? And the next time I hike, I've got that.
Yep.
Because that's cool.
Expand as much as you can, guys, on what we thought was the go-to because it was lightweight. There's other ways, so mix it up. So
if I just give a straight answer to Mark's question, it is at the moment I'm still doing dehydrated meals, the pre-prepared ones.
Yep.
I'm doing cashews, salted cashews. I'll take Ziploc bags, I'll break them into smaller bags throughout my pack, and put one a day in a little pocket on the front of my pack, and I'll make sure that I go through that. And sometimes that'll actually become my lunch. I'll literally sit down and not feel like anything, but I just crave that saltiness and the oils and the cashew, and I'll just smash an entire packet. Since the last overland, and we were hiking with, we met some guys on the trail, and I've started taking jelly beans.
Jelly beans.
Which is hilarious, but at the same time, I've always sort of taken chocolate, dark chocolate, because it doesn't melt as much, but the jelly bean thing never occurred to me. Never occurred to me until I saw this other guy, and he gave me some on the trail, and I felt like Jack and the Beanstalk, because he gave me these bright coloured beans, and I remember saying to Craig, look
magic.
What he gave me.
Yeah, it's out of place.
And
it was, isn't it?
That's right, it's out of place, and it's so out of place that when you eat it, it's just an explosion of flavour in comparison to some of these dried meals as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's energy, but I don't think it's for that. It's more of a morale. Jelly beans are more of a morale boost for me. I take jerky. I love
for sure.
jerky because of its longevity. It's hard to damage. Again, it's an explosion of flavour. You're chewing, and that's something that you miss on the trail.
Yeah.
If you're out there for 5, 6, 7 days, you realise that you haven't actually had to chew anything. You've just been slurping porridge, drinking drinks, and spooning this rehydrated meals. You realise you haven't actually chewed in anything.
Yeah.
And that, again, it's the things you miss on the trail. Hot, cold, solid food.
Yeah.
It's just weird things that you don't even think of. So, mate, that's a super long way of answering that question, but I think we had to go back to go forwards.
Muesli bars are a big part of what I take because I think it's really easy in the morning to have that for breakfast instead of preparing. I don't really like wasting time preparing food. I'll just look at it that way a lot of the time. Unfortunately.
Yeah. No, that's a fair call. And I've certainly Josh put me onto those Cliff bars as well.
Good, yeah, they're great.
You look at the ingredients and they're scary, but at the same time, I've been hiking before, and there was a special on Cliff bars at the store I went to.
Yeah,
and they're really expensive in Australia, obviously because we have to import them. They're real expensive, like $3.50 or something. And these ones were close to expiry, and they were $1 each. And I looked; they were on the counter where you check out, and I looked down and I said, "Oh, they're $1 each." And the cashier said, "Yeah, $1 each." I said, "How many do you reckon's in that box?" And she says, "Oh, about 20, to roughly 20." I said, "I'll take them all." So I walked out with 21. Turned out to be 21 Cliff bars. And there was a hike that I went on a few weeks later, and I had portioned 3 a day over a couple of days hike, and you know what? It was fine. It was fine. I think I still might have taken cashews and dehydrated meals for dinners, but it was absolutely fine. And that would be breakfast. That would be a snack. Or the great thing about the Cliff Bar is you can break off a massive chewy chunk, put the rest back in. It stores well, and just chew on that. And yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to get over to the comments because...
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments and people are making their own dehydrated stuff.
That's something I want to get into. Kudos to whoever's...
And Q.
Jamie says, anyone got a favourite vegan, vegetarian hiking meal? There is. I have had a couple of the... Again, I've had some of the dehydrated ones that are...
Apple crumble.
Vegetarian. Oh yeah, apple crumble. Yeah, that's the best one. No, I have tried a couple of their rice and veggie ones. I can't remember what they're called, but they're fine. Something else I used to take was dal. Obviously, it was already hydrated.
Yeah.
I took that a little bit again.
I mean, the dehydrated backcountry or make your own is convenient and makes sense for packing. But the more I think about it, you've still got to carry that weight in water.
Well, what I think we should point out is, and we're getting the terminology wrong here, these are freeze-dried, not dehydrated.
That's right. Yep.
I ran into a couple who were dehydrating with a dehydrator at home on the trail, and I would sit down and cook my meal, and I'd have eaten it within 15 minutes from when I sat down to when I cleaned everything up. I kid you not, the first night that I met these guys, they were sitting there for around about 3 hours trying to get the moisture back into their food. Was incredible, spaghetti bolognese and stuff, but it took hours to get them rehydrated.
Yeah, that's what Mark's...
So yeah, what
it might have been
what I suggested to them after I saw that, I said, you know what you guys
Kia said,
you know what you guys need to do is sacrifice one year. They had a couple of those Nalgene kind of big water bottles, and I said, what you need to do is, because there's two of you traveling together, someone carry water for drinking, but you need to sacrifice one of those bottles, and at the start of the day, put all the dehydrated food in that, fill it up with water, seal it real tight, put it in your pack, and then over that 8 or 9, 10-hour day, it's rehydrating.
But then don't you sort of wonder why people bother, apart from preserving it?
No, I personally, I think you get to be very specific about the health of your, exactly what is. You have a look at the back of these, and you don't want to. It's so high in salt and everything.
Yeah, that's right.
You look at what's the expiry?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, when you're mixing it with
this expiry is November 2022. That's not normal.
No, that's
right?
wrong. Yeah.
So I know it's sealed in foil. I know it's freeze dried, but still, I think that But then it goes back to your point, Craig. They ended up carrying around 1,200 mil or so of water.
Bring it up. Why didn't they just bring the spaghetti bowl the way it was from home?
In the pot. Just strap the pot up
on
the top of your pack. When you just need a bit, you just strap your stove on top of the pack.
Yeah. Get it all
strap the pot on top of the stove.
Little bits come out, get on your clothes.
And then 5 minutes out from the campsite, you turn the stove on.
Right.
And you're cooking
on
your dinner. On the go. By the time you get to camp, you put your pack down, turn the stove off.
It's done.
Spaghetti bolognese.
Fast food.
Yeah, that's the solution there. So we've just solved the problem for everybody.
So much effort and time.
That's what we should be moving towards.
You can enjoy the stars and the
have a small refrigerator in the other hiking partners pack with a solar panel or a generator of sorts, ice cream, stuff like that. It's no longer out of your limits when you're hiking.
Fantastic, man. I like it. I guess if you're going someplace where there's a water, like a stream, then it makes sense to be able to just add a bit of water that you didn't have to carry.
Oh,
so good.
I agree, and Jamie's actually said
if you've got to carry the water,
you can gather water as you go.
Yep, that's the way, but not always possible where we go.
No, sometimes it's not. We've had hikes where we go from a low elevation, and when we spend 2 days at a high elevation, you actually have to take everything.
5 litres of water for that 3 day, but
when we ran out,
had to use some of it for the food. Whereas if you had just carried the food,
taken the extra weight and slogged it out.
So you got to weigh it all up, so to speak. Yeah.
Nice pun. To weigh it up. We missed so many comments here. Yes, you did, Jamie. You did miss the Magical Media mashup. Obviously, you can catch up on that later. There's a really good documentary film that you should watch. Rewind this when we're done.
And go and watch that snow leopard thing too.
The Parthen Project, it's called. And go watch
snow leopard.
Well, I won't be able to find that. Once I've done the show notes, you'll be able to find
That's
a
what
link
I
to
mean.
the snow leopard. But yeah, that was pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah. What can you scroll up? I think
yeah.
we're down. I mean, like as in we've missed some conversation here. Whoa. Here we go. By the way, Jamie's question was to everyone. Anyone got a favourite vegan or vegetarian hiking meal? So Kia says the backcountry cooked breakfast is the business. Yes, I agree. We've had that one before.
Yeah, that's got baked beans in it and stuff, hasn't it?
Oh, have a look. If you want to see something real crazy, there's a video that Craig and I did about this product called the Meal Spec.
Yeah, how cool is that?
Meal Spec heater. And go and check out that video on our YouTube channel. I cook up a full-blown Aussie breakfast with this Meal Spec thing. You add water and then it's a chemical thing. I mean, it scares me. But I had everything in Ziploc bags and I was putting it in. Yeah. And we ate off some rocks. We ate off some stones.
As you do, Tom. You didn't tell
yeah.
me what we were doing that day.
Yeah.
You said just bring your camera and we're going to do a little video. And I'm sitting here watching you do it. I just could not believe it, honestly. You guys will be surprised to see what he's doing. Imagine actually taking the footage, having not known what was about to happen. And yeah, it was really cool, man, that you heated all that up.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do the same thing with podcasts. I like to get Craig's natural reactions. I don't want to tell him everything I'm going to do and then turn up and he just sees me doing it and goes, I was expecting that. But the stuff I put in, I put sausages in, I put pancake mix in.
Yep,
I brought maple syrup. I bought caramelized onion to have with the sausages and the baked beans. Like, I go nuts. Yeah, so if you want to see a crazy meal, and I mean, we were in the middle of nowhere.
Unbelievable.
We were in the middle of nowhere. Legitimately, I carried all that stuff in.
A little bit of a spoiler though, like it was so good, except that you made it on rocks. We've got these beautiful river rocks, I think they were, and used them for plates. But I think they must have been to kind of let them cool down after that.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And I think we talked for like 10 minutes before.
Well, we had to get a few photos and stuff.
But it was good. It was great.
I think the rock leached the heat out quicker than
I think so. Yeah,
than a plastic bowl or something like that. So. It was some of it was just
but it was cooked
warm,
pretty cool.
But it was cooked insanely well.
Check that out.
Where are we going over here? I'm just looking through.
Any other questions?
Mark's saying I'm trying to remember. Haven't used it for a long time. I think he's talking about Mountain House. It's coming back to me. I'm pretty sure it's called Mountain House. Is one of the big names in the States, but there's also one, and I don't remember. I think it's the name of. I think it's the person's name, like a lady's name, and they like Susan's something or other, and they do a dehydrated meal where she's very, very conscious of the health benefits of the meals. So
nice.
We can't really get those here unless we pay a ton of shipping, but you should look out for that because I know for a fact that they're big over there if you're listening from there. Kia makes his own dehydrated meals, as you were saying, Craig. Allows better control of the ingredients. 100% agree. Never rehydrates as early. Yeah. I agree with Mark. Dehydrate your chili and bring me some.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. That's an interesting point Kia has made there in the comments if you guys are reading. He said that he's seen people dehydrate the individual ingredients rather than the meals. That's really clever. I'd never have thought of that. Thank you for mentioning that. Mm-hmm. That's really cool because now you're talking about dehydrating individual ingredients, maybe having them in separate Ziploc bags or however you carry food, and then throughout your multi-day hike, you're picking and choosing your staples, adding different components to make a different style of meal. That's really cool.
So then you do the cooking out there.
Yeah, you still have to. You're basically cooking properly.
Yeah, like you get the pasta and
the going back to that earlier. I think that the last hike I did, and I still haven't managed to get the video up. I did a solo hike, and I actually took real food out, and I baked. Jamie, if you're asking about vegan, vegetarian stuff, I baked purple sweet potato, carrots, capsicum. What do they call? I think you call that a bell pepper in the States. What else did I have? That was about potatoes, normal potatoes, and I baked all of that, and I put it in aluminium foil and put it in the coals of this small fire. I did have sausages. That's not very vegan, but that part of it's not. But I have to say the smells, the textures, the tastes, the act of sitting around a fire cooking was such a good experience. The problem with that is our national parks, you're not allowed to have fires. I agree with that, don't get me wrong, but it's taken away. We have to then cook in stoves, right? Mm. So it's tricky. You got to make sure can...
Was it you or was it Robbie or was this a dream that I had?
Ooh.
Who actually...
Did we have clothes on?
Yes. He actually took frozen steaks.
I did.
Yeah.
I took a frozen steak out to our secret spot in that gorge.
That's right. That was awesome.
That works well.
But in my dream, right, what happens is you can use that to chill a beer, to keep it cold in your...
That didn't happen in real life because I don't drink beer.
That might have been part of the dream.
You could most definitely, if you had a cold, ice cold beer and two frozen steaks
in there,
put them around and then put it in that, that kind of... just a cooler bag sort of stuff.
With a couple of cans in there.
Yeah, and then...
Mate.
Yeah, you see.
See, by the time you get there, the steak will be just ready. It'll be thawed out.
Yeah, that's
the beers will be cold. And they'll...
Yeah, I took a beautiful steak.
Stuff you...
On a hike. We spoke about this. We spoke about this a while back, actually.
A couple of eggs.
And what Craig was doing, his dehydrated
not very vegan
thing, and I...
not very vegetarian either.
Well, I think it's vegetarian. It's not vegan. Because not eating... No, eggs.
Oh.
Steaks is pretty much not vegan or vegetarian. I took a steak frozen, and by the time Craig and I set up camp, he starts making his dehydrated stuff, and then I get this pan out and start heating up oil.
It smelled so good.
And I'm heating up oil, and then all of a sudden he just hears this, and he's turning around and said, "What do you reckon about this, mate?"
That's right, and that was so good.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Very good.
Are we missing anything? Oh, we got to go back. We're missing people going off now.
Okay.
Mark says he rehydrates when meal's about 20 minutes. Okay. Never had a problem. Okay. I suggest that, Mark, you're probably really good at using your dehydrator. These people, it was their first time. They may have reduced it to cardboard. I'm not sure. Jamie's got another question. Oh, Jamie grows those purple sweet potatoes. They're fantastic. They're really good. I'm gonna pause on Jamie's question there, just to go back to. Oh, here we go. Ready? Just for the people who've joined in, I found this bongo out in Craig's other area. So if you hear this, that's the sound between questions.
Oh, next question, is it?
Yeah, next question time.
Okay.
Tom and Craig, what's been your most enjoyable solo trip? This is a question from Jodes. Our friend in the UK. Tom, your river paddling looked super insane.
Yeah.
And Craig, your hammock jungle solo trip looked scary. Jodes is referring to 2 videos that are available on our YouTube channel. I did a 3-day solo canoe trip, and Craig did a solo overnighter with his hammock to one of our secret spots. You go first this time.
Okay. Yes, there was I keep forgetting if it's the upper or the lower portals, but
Yeah, it's confusing.
I ended up right on the...
Oh, that's not what that video is from, though.
No, it's different.
Oh, okay. So you're just answering the
What was
question.
my favourite?
Sorry.
Overnight, because I videoed that one. I videoed this other one too. You guys probably haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen that.
It was right on the edge of the creek, this beautiful freshwater, fast-flowing creek. I set the hammock up right on the edge.
There's a photo of that on Instagram.
Right, yeah. Well,
Yeah, scroll down
I've been to that place 3 or 4 times for overnighters, and there was this one in particular, and I set it up, and there was just this little rock underneath my hammock that I could sit on with the hammock rolled up, and the awning came out during a little rainstorm. I just sat under that, and I was right beside the creek. Had this just spooky night. It was just great, and I was just able to at all times just hear the creek running, and I loved it. Yeah, no doubt, that was my best night.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Jodes, just in response to that, solo canoeing trip was my first solo trip ever. And I think I bit off more than I can chew. And that was actually scary. There's a bit in the video where you can see on the first night, I'm real agitated. You can see my eyes are flicking around while I'm trying to talk to the camera. I was just so out of my comfort zone. But your question is, what's the most enjoyable solo trip? It would have to be the last one I just did, the one I was talking about where I was on private property, which meant I was allowed to have a fire. I took out a new hammock that I've bought recently. I hiked in this amazing places. There's photos of that on some of the most recent ones on Instagram are from that trip. And there is a video that's going to come out about that. That's definitely been my favourite.
Yeah, cool.
I felt super comfortable.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't worried. I wasn't scared. And just everything made it
Peaceful.
really good.
Yeah.
Took my time. Got some pretty cool footage as well.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Kia says that... Oh, Jode says, what am I missing here? Josh says it might have to be a ginger beer for Tom. That's right. Oh, Mark says he's also dehydrated vegetables from the garden. Tomatoes are like candy. They would be. Jode says, yeah, both incredible videos. Jodes, I hope we're doing your question justice. Or hope we did your question justice. Jamie says, what trips are you most looking forward to post-lockdown?
All right. Post-lockdown. I've been...
Good question, obviously.
It's a good question, obviously. I've been thinking it's really hard to make any sort of plans at the moment, so I haven't been trying to. But what am I most looking forward to, Tom?
Any time spent with me, I'm assuming.
I know what it is. I know what
Doesn't
it is.
Doesn't matter where we go.
Something that, the Christmas period went crazy for us, and I was going to go up to the Middle Creek Falls back here on my own. I still want to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where we met Josh. Is it called Middle Creek?
Cobble Creek.
Cobble Creek, and then there's the middle one.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's where we met Josh, and I think I said I'd go back there at the end of last year. I'm going to make that happen. because I think it'll be easy to get away for a solo trip during with restrictions. I think.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. As soon as we're allowed to stay overnight,
Yeah,
would be game on.
Yeah, game on.
Sorry.
That's it. That's all I've been thinking about.
I was specifically not planning anything and not even kind of not letting myself go there, because when this first kicked off in Australia, I didn't know if it was 8 weeks or 8 months, and I didn't want to be holding out for something. That probably sounds weird. That's all right.
Yeah, that's right.
It probably sounds weird. That putting that on mute wouldn't have affected. That's just output.
No, that's just what we're hearing.
Sorry, yeah, I deliberately didn't want it. It probably sounds weird because a lot of people like to have things to look forward to. Yeah, I do too, but at the same time,
it can be depressing, can't it?
Yeah, at the same time, this is different. This is different to anything we've ever been through. You don't know when the end date is.
No.
You don't know what the end date is. It's different to saying, "Oh, I'm working so hard at the moment, work so busy. In exactly 3 months, I have 2 weeks off. Yes, I want something defined that I'm going to look forward to."
That's it. Yeah.
This is not there. So I was worried about getting excited. But to answer the question, yeah, I want to get to. There's a property a friend of mine owns. I mentioned a lot on the podcast. It's where I went on that solo trip I just mentioned before. He gives me permission to have free reign on the place. I'm allowed to have fires. I'm allowed to camp where I like, and I treat that place like my own. If it was my own, I respect it, and I do everything humanly possible to, if he turns up to one of my campsites, he'll have a hard time knowing I was there, because I really try and clean up after myself. So I do want to get back out there, but I do want to get out and take Craig out there. He's never been there, and I think it's going to blow his mind.
Well, now I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and maybe just getting away with the kids in the big family tent one day. We had to set up here. We during the.
I think Jodes is heading off.
Oh, right.
Mate, if you are... Oh, definitely doing the question, Jodes. It's midnight, I believe, over there.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's still awake. And still awake. I'm not sure if that means you saying goodbye or if you're hanging around, Jodes, but as I say, I hope we're doing it justice.
Mm-hmm.
You can always come watch it back.
Yeah, cool.
Josh says we're looking forward to having another crack at the steamers. That was a hike. Oh, and the Lost World. Oh, man, that was... I miscalculated that one again. Both of those.
Kind of glad I missed that one.
Yeah, he still keeps coming hiking, that Josh. He still keeps coming after I've got him lost twice.
Insane.
Dark Earth Project. I do some night hiking. That is cool.
Yeah.
What I start imagining beyond the reach of my head torch. Yeah, I hear you on that one, mate. And I did miss a comment. I think it was Kia who said, it's amazing what the brain comes up with when you're alone in the bush at night. That's
I saw that before.
the same kind of vein. Jamie says, it is hard right now. I won't be able to do I can never pronounce this one. Bibilm track? I don't know. At the end of this year, still pack training around my neighbourhood. Good on you. Don't stop training, because when the gates get opened, you got to be ready to go. I'll tell you a really interesting experience I had, and this is going to be the same for people that go out this weekend. I went on a hike the very day that a particular national park opened after the Australian bushfires.
Mm-hmm.
I was the first person to set foot on it with my nephew, and it was the border track at out of O'Reilly's there.
Yeah, right.
Out of Lamington.
Yeah.
it looked completely different. There was these golden autumn leaves spread all over the trail, and so there was this contrast of kind of dark earth and it's funny because that's one of the names, mulch and rich soil and rainforest trees and moss, and then this golden amber path winding. And it took me ages to work out why it looked so pretty that day. And then I said to my nephew, hang on a second, I've never walked on leaf litter before on this trail because it's always kicked aside or mashed in, and it's like a brown muddy trail. I took some photos that I don't think did it justice, but it was absolutely fascinating to be the first people. We ran into a lot of scat. Later on we went and talked to the national park lady just to report it, and she said that they have had wild dogs around there. They do have dingoes as well, but they've got some abating program going on, I believe. But she said, yeah, thanks for the information. But again, I think it was, and some of it was so fresh, we must have, because there was nobody hiking before us that day, we must have been not far behind these animals.
You're right.
It was very interesting and very different to anything we've experienced because we're usually in high trafficked areas.
That would have been wild.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, cool.
Josh is saying it feels like unfinished business, those places where we got lost. Yeah, I agree, mate. It was. We missed anything here? Joe's is going to give it another 20 minutes. What a good bloke. G'day, Mike. How are you, mate? Oh, that's a good question. Here's the magical bongo sound of a new question.
Oh, okay. So nice.
There you go. Mike says, do you guys carry backup rations in case you get stuck somewhere? If yes, what do you suggest? It's an excellent question. I don't think anyone's thought to ask that before. The answer was definitely yes, but it's changed over the years. I used to quite specifically take an entire day of extra food. And because I figure an entire day of extra food, I could easily stretch to 3 days, especially if I was waiting to be extracted or something. Okay, so I could slow down, set myself up, build a fire, build some shelter. If, say, for example, I had a mechanical injury, I've broken my leg and I can't move, then I'm not burning calories. I know I can make a day's worth. I could probably make it last for 7 days, really. But let's say I can make it last for 3 to 4 days. And typically where we're going, and if you guys have listened to the podcast before, you hear me say it a million times, tell a reliable person exactly where you're going, your trip intentions, when you're coming in, when you're coming out, the path you're taking. And when they don't hear from you, contact the authorities, okay? I'm not going to dwell on that. I've said it a million times. There's another article that came up that I didn't bother putting in the news today because it was someone who didn't do that and laid there for 4 days with a broken hip thinking that they were going to die because they couldn't move, and they didn't even tell anyone where they were hiking or that they were even going.
Here we go again. Yep.
No, I'm not going there. I'm moving on. So, yeah, I know I can stretch food. Now, what's happened over the years is I've realized that there's a weird thing that happens where I'll take, for example, on every single overland trip I've done, the first one was a 7-day trip. I took enough food for a solid 7 days and then some. Once I hit about the second or third day of the trip, I don't understand what it is. I've never really, you and I have discussed it, but I've talked to a few other hikers and they experience the same thing. Their caloric intake tends to reduce. They don't feel hungry. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that fresh mountain stream water giving you some extra kick. It's the fresh air. I don't know what it is, but I will take food and then I will bring food home every single time. So what I'd used to do is take an extra day's food and I'd come home with a day and a half, 2-3 days food.
Yeah.
And it's weird and I can't explain it because you're out there expending, but I guess you've got more high calorie snacks and that's kind of taken. It's hard to say. So in answer to your question, Mike, yes, I still take more food, but some people would say I take the exact amount, but I know every time that I always come home with unopened food. So the second part of your question was, what is it? It would usually be Mike's only just come online. It's usually like a freeze-dried meal like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a double serve, and it's only, where's the grammage? 175 grams in weight. Obviously, it is. I read it with my
I remember
mathematics eyes.
There was one of them that I bought and just decided I didn't like it because I think I tasted it, but I kept carrying it in my pack as sort of that ration.
Thanks, Mark.
Mark's off.
Mark's heading off, mate. Good on you, buddy. Thanks for hanging around for so long. Enjoyed your questions as well. We'll catch up with you another time. See you, mate.
But yeah, one of them went on me a few trips and it never got eaten and just kept coming with me because it's about backup for that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is they're so slim that I can slip that down the back, kind of where the water bladder goes, and just forget about it. Yeah. Know that it's not part of my meals. But if I ran into another person who was injured or whatever, or they've run out of food, or I've got something there.
Yeah, it makes sense to have a little bit extra.
Yeah, I think other things like slipping a few 2 or 3 extra Cliff Bars in that you probably won't touch. Yes, it's extra weight, but if the proverbial hits the fan, you are most definitely going to be able to have, that's a high calorie snack that you could really, as I was saying earlier before you jumped on, Mike, I think, I've done entire hikes just on a couple of Cliff Bars a day and it keeps up. Yeah, horribly high calories.
Yeah, Cliff Bars are great, and you might not have noticed, mate, but I always put one in my pocket or 2 in my pocket when I'm hiking, just in case you separate from your bag and you get lost, just to have them on you as well as what's in your bag.
Yeah, that's something. Some people find themselves separated from their main pack and then incapacitated and can't make it back to the pack that's got all the safety gear and the EPIRB and the mobile phone and the first aid kit and all this stuff, or imagine if you took
can't get to it.
I got everything.
The pack fell down a cliff or something.
We spoke to we had Andy.
That's what I was thinking of just then.
Slozzy on as a
totally
as a guest, and that's quite a good. At first, and Joe's actually said this when he listened to the first half of that podcast. He said, "Oh, this guy sounds reckless and crazy." And I said, "Mate, listen to the second part of the podcast, and you'll get a bit of a feel for what he's about, and that he's so extensively experienced that that's not really too far beyond his realm." Yeah. But the point I'm getting, it's a good podcast. The point I'm getting to is he had an incident where he put his pack down and he was going to lower it down this cliff to get to the next ledge. Yeah. Roughly, I think this was from memory. When he lowered it down, he didn't have enough rope for the last bit. So he was kind of stuck. How do I get my pack down there? Because then he was going to climb down afterwards. He let go of the rope and it caused the pack to bounce and tumble and go down further and then stop on the edge of this cliff, the next cliff. When he climbed down to get it, he said if it had have tumbled one more time, it would have gone off into a space where he would not have been able to retrieve it. he was in extreme conditions.
And isolation.
Extreme isolation.
Yeah, it was
3-4 days from nowhere. Where he started the trail was nowhere, and then he hiked for 4 days to nowhere. His satellite phone, everything's in the pack. That's really, 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 and he was. That really kind of hit home for him later. He was saying that when he thought about how badly that could have gone.
Oh yeah.
So you having something on you, a person, if you're going to walk away from your pack, just throwing something in your pockets. I don't know.
Yeah, don't walk too far from your pack makes sense too.
Josh is asking, what were those ration blocks you guys did a review on? Yes.
Mainstay? No,
Mainstay.
Mainstay, yeah.
And, Kia, that was another Brisbane band.
Mainstay.
Band name, Mainstay. Mainstay, yes, we did a review on those, Josh, you're right. They were like a dense shortbread with a really nice lemon flavour.
Yep, now good.
Like a dense shortbread, and it was packed with all sorts of stuff. They've basically gone through a list of things that you need on a daily basis, and they've jam-packed it in. And the way they've made it so compact is they chose to make it in biscuit form. So you would get a long pack, which was... what do you call that? Vacuum sealed really, really well in tough packaging. And it would have, you'd be able to break it into 3 pieces, and supposedly 1 square was a meal. Now, I would agree 100% that you could easily just have 3 squares a day and maintain yourself for days on end.
Yeah.
That stuff, I've still got, I think I might have some. It lasts for 5 years too. I've got some of the water packs in my car still now. I think I ate all of the food, but yeah, that's a pretty good.
Yeah,
it's heavy, but if you had something like that,
yeah, good ration option.
Oh man, you'd survive for days.
Yeah, it's good for like bug out bags because it lasts so long, eh?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're designed for. Is 1,200 calories in one block. That's right. Yeah, Mainstay. Cool. Let's go over here for another question. We're still kicking along. I hope it's been going a long time, but people have been coming in later and leaving because of time zones. So I'm happy to just keep cruising if you are, Craig.
Yeah, mate. Whatever we do.
No, it doesn't matter. Nowhere to be. Okay, Tom and Craig, what's been your most enjoyable and scary wildlife encounter when out in the wild? That's a great question from Jodes. Oh, I'll go first. I'm seeing that as 2 separate questions, not an enjoyable, scary, but enjoyable and scary.
Yeah, 2 questions.
Enjoyable. Deer. I love deer. Absolutely my favorite animal. So I love just watching him, observing him. I've been lucky enough to be in positions where I've been hiding in the bush and able to observe them for long periods of time. One time up to sort of 35 minutes, I was within 10 meters of a herd of deer. These particular ones were rusa. We also get red deer. Red deer is my favorite. Watching them just interact and move around. Absolutely, hands down. Most enjoyable, most scary. When I got attacked by red belly, black snake, venomous snake, easily most scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, mate?
Yeah, well, my scariest encounter was when you nearly got attacked by it.
Yeah, you weren't even there.
I wasn't there, but
50 meters away, and you.
But I saw another one that day that was ready to to jump off that
Should
bank.
move that mouse. Yeah, just in case.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, ready to jump at us, and I thought a pretty scary moment. That, red
that
belly.
first one.
Remember how
yeah.
we got some footage of it?
Do you need to get that?
Just move that mouse again. It should
I
be.
did.
Just so that's still working. Otherwise, we will have troubles. No.
I don't want to click anything in case I.
Yeah, you're right. Just maybe that'll bring it back. I hope. Yeah. So
broken that.
and
That's
then,
good.
mate, I'm a bit soft, but that little echidna down at Tasmania.
Echidnas are great.
Because I got some footage.
Got some good footage.
And I've just watched it a few times. I love it.
No, echidna would be up there in my top 3, I reckon.
Mm.
I got a massive appreciation for snakes now since we've started hiking more and more. I really like them, whereas I used to be, I never wanted to come across one. Now things are quite different. I actually enjoy. Is that
Still going?
I'm still going. I actually enjoy more so pythons because I know that they can't kill me instantly. But
Yeah.
but I do like seeing them. I like giving them a little pat. I like I do like snakes. That's a good question, Jamie. Has your kids' bird watching still going strong? Yeah, they're still pretty into the bird watching. Recently, we went out, not specifically to bird watch, but I think I mentioned in the last podcast we saw a dingo, and we saw a couple of other things along the way as well. But they still enjoy it, and they're constantly teaching me. One of my boys came to me, well, must have been 2 weeks ago, and said, "Oh, Dad, you know that bird that we keep seeing?" And I said, yeah, I think it's a juvenile of this. And he says, no. I went and researched it in my bird book, and there's 2 different species, and the grey one is not, butcher birds?
Yeah.
Okay, so I always thought from growing up, there's the black and white butcher birds, right?
Yeah.
There's black and white magpie. Baby magpies are grey and motley until they mature.
Yeah.
Baby butcher birds of the black and white variety are grey until they mature to black and white. But the trick is there's another species of butcher bird who are grey right up to maturity.
Right.
So every time I'd see a grey butcher bird, I'd think, oh, that's a juvenile black and white butcher bird. And he's come to me with his book and said, no.
Oh, cool.
It's a different species. We get them both in this area, so you could be looking at an adult of the grey variety. Okay, kid. All right. He's 10 years old.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot out of that, Jamie, and I'm grateful for that. Their interest in wildlife and the outdoors every day. Oh, wow. Kia. Great question. If you could go hiking with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be? Oh, man, that's tough. That's tough. I have a couple of... one answer, I kind of want to give a couple, I think. One answer people would just straight up think is ridiculous, right? Because as soon as I say this name, you're already thinking it, and you're right. The name I'm going to say, you're going to say it's an over commercialized. It's fake. It's not real. Why would you want to spend time? And it's Bear Grylls. But he's misunderstood. He seems like he has a good sense of humor. He's more than adequately trained and skilled to, keep me alive because I'm hopeless. But I think we'd have a good laugh.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
Now, that's probably like a super obvious answer. And I don't even consider myself a fanboy of him. I'm just saying he seems like a good bloke and he'd be fun.
Yeah.
My other answer, Well, I'm going to let you. I'm going to ponder for a minute. That may be my final answer. I'm going to let you answer while I ponder that thought a little and check some messages.
What's his name? The guy off that that show you gave me.
Alone.
That,
the winner.
No. The guy who got out.
Rob. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Robinette.
Robnet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like his style outdoors.
He seems like a nice guy. Again, I think that's obviously an important factor of wanting to spend time with someone.
You got to have someone that you can enjoy company with. I think that's so important because otherwise it won't go too well, will it?
No, which is why I kind of stand by my comment. Like I think I'd have a good laugh with Bear. We'd have a good laugh.
It's Joe Robnet.
Joe Robnet. Yeah, I remembered the Rob.
Just remember now. So because of his skills at building shelters, man, incredible. I'd love to go and spend a week watching him like build a thing and to take his dog out and it'd be cool.
Yeah. Jamie says here that there's loads of deer in the Royal National Park and they have to try and cull them every now and then. Yeah, for people who don't know, deer are 100% introduced species in Australia. We've got five varieties here, and the funny thing is some of them were given to us as gifts from princes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting now, but they do ruin the. That's the kind of flip side of my admiration for deer is that they do ruin vegetation that our native animals should be, and they cause erosion, like all sorts of stuff. And they're not as bad as something like a wild boar, again, an introduced species, but yeah, no, it's a valid point. So that was your answer. Like, he's a pretty cool dude. I agree.
Yeah, I haven't.
What you should do if you hike with him is you take extra ferro rod.
Yeah, I know.
And lighters
poor
and
bastard.
stuff.
Oh man!
If you haven't seen the series Alone, it's on the History Channel. Or it used to be. It might still be on the History Channel. Very, very good show. And it must have been. Was that about the first season?
It is.
He was first season, and it is a spoiler, but this guy puts down his ferro rod. So the striker, Ferricium rod, he puts it down, and you don't even see on the footage where he puts it down. Lights a fire. He's excited. Did he have fish that night? Whatever. He's excited. He's got a fire on the beach and everything. When he comes back, one of two things has happened. It's either the tides come in and washed it away, or washed rocks or something over it, or he's left it too close to the fire and it's actually burnt and melted it, and it's disappeared. So he realizes he's lost this, and he spends hours and hours, and he's close to tears, like he's fretting because it's his one source of, and he straight up says, I'm not a good, I don't know how to do the bow drill or anything, and that Ferricium rod was his ticket to fires for the time that he's out in the wilderness in this competition, and he has to tap out.
Mm-hmm.
Can't make fire. Crazy, eh?
Yeah.
Sad. Was sad because he was a good dude.
It's awful.
Everything happens for a reason.
Who's this?
It
says, "What up?" Do you remember?
It's just a question mark, and I can't see the icon. Hang on. You see, it's really hard to see the.
Les Hiddens, the bush tucker man, would be Kiers.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, good one.
That's
man.
a great one.
That would be
Kia,
so cool.
That's cool. Yeah, Bush Tucker man's a legend. Jode says, poor Joe, I so wanted him to win that. What an error.
Yeah.
Felt his pain, 100%.
Yeah.
We all did.
Yeah.
Jodes also says it's scary hearing about that snake attack. Yeah, it was scary being there. Joe would hopefully see the funny side of...
So I guess you don't remember me. Who is that?
I can't... there's no name. It's just a question mark. And as an icon, but in our defense, you can't even see the look, I don't even know what that icon is because it's so tiny. We have been in the forest together.
All three of us.
All three of us. I don't know. Does that mean Craig as well? Or does that mean someone else with me?
It's a troll.
Yeah. It could be Alex. It could be Alex.
Damo.
We did some acid. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we definitely. I remember you are now. Where were we? Dark Earth. Yeah, Joe would hopefully see the funny side of that. Bringing a Pharaoh mod. Mine would be Brooke from a different season of Alone. Can't remember Brooke, but I remember there was some really impressive female contestants with impressive outdoor skills, especially on the last one. That was cool.
Yeah, totally.
It was really good. Yeah, it was really awesome.
Mm.
All right. Oh, this is Jodes. Are you still awake?
I think he was going to go, wasn't he?
No, I think he was going to go, but not sure if
We're going to have to get some lunch soon.
Yeah, it is getting late. Paul Kirtley has great interviews with both Joe and Les on his podcast. That's interesting. We should check that out. Thanks, Kia. Joe says, as I'm a huge fan of the Hike or Die podcast, when will I be made an official honorary ambassador for Hike or Die? I'd say there's probably going to be a long list of challenges that one would have to partake in.
Initiation.
Yeah, in a way, some form of an initiation, which would be both mentally and physically challenging and hilarious for us.
Yeah,
it has to be funny. It'd be funny for us.
Really
We'd
funny.
have to see videos and photos of it.
And I think he's up for it. I think he's probably
up for it. You could tell Jodes, do this and you'll get you'll be an ambassador. Yeah, do it. He'll do it hands down. So probably something like that, mate. So yeah.
Set us all a challenge.
Oh, set us all a challenge. That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea. Hey, maybe we need to set that challenge for the person to win that year subscription to Topo Maps. Yeah. Oh, hiking for happiness. G'day, mate. How are you? I'm struggling to remember. Your first name. Excuse me. I think I wrote it down, unless you tell me first. Mark. It is Mark. It's another Mark. It's funny because Mark, there was another Mark on earlier, and as soon as he said his name was Mark, I thought it was you, but then he said he was in the US, and I thought, that's not the Mark we're talking about. Are you in WA as well? Is that right? Or are you from Victoria? Why don't I just wait for you to answer? I could just say every single state.
Tasmania.
Are you from Tasmania? Are you from the ACT? No, now the more I think about New South Wales, Victoria border. Okay, cool. Yes. Yeah, we mentioned you on the last podcast. We were talking about your emails back and forth because we were discussing that lighthouse walk. Remember that? We discussed the lighthouse walk.
Right.
Well, It was Mark that was telling me that another place that he knows of was probably going to move towards that hut type scenario where then the price of the camping or campsites goes up, but also it can make it quite inaccessible to normal budget hikers. I mean, I don't mind paying money for huts, but the idea of hiking trails should be about accessibility first, and if you and staying in a hut second. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I've got to be able to continue to take friends or kids, pay the national parks fee of what is it now, $5.50 a night or something,
Yeah,
you know,
for
like for Australia, $5.50 per person per night.
Pretty good.
Pay that, take your own gear, and have fantastic time. There still needs to be that. If there's going to be a cabin facility, that's fine. That either needs to be incorporated in the price. If it's a basic, maybe slightly higher price for a basic cabin, but moving 100% towards flashy cabins where you can only pay $100, $150 a night or whatever to have this kind of experience I don't think that's fair, because you're taking that away from the average punter or somebody just getting into something.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Is anyone? I mean, we're ready just to head off now. We've covered everything. Covered all of Jode's questions.
All those ones?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
good.
all the questions I had for everyone that sent in, and I think we hit everything on the chat there. If anyone's got a quick question, shoot it right now, because I reckon it might be the last one.
Yeah.
Drum roll. Oh. Jamie, thank you. Keep being awesome. We'll do our best. We will stay safe. Thanks for the great start to the day. I hope it was okay. Jode's long list of challenges. Bring it on. Thanks for making the podcast happen in this format. Yeah, I appreciate it. Look, honestly, thanks, Kia, as well. Thanks very much. It's been, for anybody who's kind of sitting around, it's been so much fun to be able to answer. I mean, just to be straight up and clarify questions and ask, do you mean this or do you mean that? And I'll give you the answer. It's been
Immediate.
fantastic.
Yeah,
it's a great format. I don't want to speak for you, Craig, but I feel like this is a format that I definitely
I like it.
Engage in again and run a podcast like this. Maybe not every single one, but definitely every couple get in here and have a good laugh.
Why not? Thanks for joining in, guys.
Yeah, really appreciate it. I think you have any
to,
closing words?
Cue that music, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll keep talking about something interesting so we don't lose everybody.
No, it's been fun. And, it's a bit different getting up so early for a podcast, but why not? I think we'll do it again.
I don't really have specifically anything coming up. As I said, if you've tuned in and you haven't been around since the start of this marathon, we're gonna have a landscape photographer on in the near future. So keep that in mind. That's going to be a fantastic guest. We've had him on before and really explored what he's about. His name's Oddbjørn. Go back and check out that podcast if you haven't. But we're going to have him on not as a guest so much as a source of information, so we can hit him up with tips and tricks for landscape photography. There's a few others that I can't mention that are in the pipeline at the moment. Some really interesting people that have reached out to us, and I just need to kind of work out times and dates with them. I haven't even discussed them with you yet, but some really cool people
Sounds great.
coming through. So, I always say this, and it's at the end of every podcast. We do appreciate your support. It's been, fantastic. And today, it's just proof that we're all kind of, the kids going nuts up there. It's awesome. They want you up there. Someone needs help. So thanks again. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys hanging out and making it fun.
Yeah.
Would have been boring if it was just with him.
Totally. Thanks, guys.
If you're listening to this podcast on iTunes, we'd really appreciate your ratings and comments if you can spare the time. If you'd like to know more about HikeordieTV and keep track of our adventures around Australia, make sure you drop by Hikeordie.com. That's where you'll find all the information you'll need to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram or Pinterest. As always, we appreciate your support. Thanks for listening.